like last time on Stars Without Numbers session, dude. Brody, off on his own little adventure, somehow stumbles upon the room he was looking for some kind of dick weapon. I think he called it a penistal, but I wouldn't really know. He stumbles into that room and finds what he's looking for, but unfortunately he's jumped by a random bandit that swiftly takes him out because he's a tough bro. And then he wanders the ship looking for us after having soaked up that juicy long-term bowl experience. Back at the other crew members while Willie is looking for us, Weevil's talking to Ava, saying that he wants to save her from the ship and get her off, but she's reluctant because she wants to save everyone, even though they're all like dead. The rest of the party kind of gives up and like walks towards the med bay because we can't convince her to open the armory. The party learns that it's full of rads, dude. Not the good kind of rad, like no rad, bad rads.
Not good radical, bad radical.
Yeah, not like radical, but like radiation. That's okay with Kit's vaccine. So Polly gives him a little tap on the butt, kiss on the forehead, and says, "Kit, you can do this for the team." Kit decides to go in, look for med kits, anti-radiation medicine, and anything else he can find. And while inside, Kit's a little pussy. He's a shadow staring him from off the distance. So it's the Jets. Only rejoining the party having gotten one med kit with a bunch of new supplies, a danged up bioscanner, 2 small cases of prescription medication, and 2 bottles of Bezoar, and 2 bottles of Lit. Whoa, upper, my face. For some reason, the party didn't like the idea to cut off the faces of everyone and used it to open the armory. What a bummer. But Brody, after having rejoined the party, after yelling at the top of his lungs, tries to wrestle the door open and somehow succeeds. Man, his rough muscles get that door cracked so wide open that we can even crawl through. And it's a jackpot. 6 vibro-batons, 2 spare sets of armor, 3 riot shields, 4 pistols, 1 laser rifle. Man, our pockets are stuffed with weaponry, dude. We leave having stocked our pockets and make our way towards the end of the ship. And on this journey, we run into the mess hall with the thought that, man, the kitchen probably has a bunch of food in it, and since we've been starving and not drinking half the time, probably a good idea to stock up on a couple munchie snacks. I know I could go for a bite or 2. We enter the kitchen, hear some skittering noises in the back, but it doesn't scare us. Jenko makes a fucking sandwich while the rest of us are trying to gather supplies. And while Jenko is making this sandwich, he drops a side of bread, mayo face down, of course, and he's swarmed by a flock of sandfish. And after fighting the sandfish, unfortunately, Weevil goes down, taking one too many slacks from the little fish. Luckily enough, I came in to save the day, making it halfway there while everyone else killed all the other sandfish. We were able to get Weevil back up on his feet. But he looks so dinged up, a nice chunk taken out of his leg, and some weird other parts that are spraying around. His nice smiley face doesn't really seem to be as smiley as it used to be. We stock up on rations, water and whatnot, and Jenko finishes his sandwich, and we get out of there and make our way to the back of the cargo bay. Jenko notices a car shaped cloth across the room and goes to investigate it, while the rest of the crew is relieved that the car doesn't have enough seats for all of us. So now we're like, what do we do, bro? Half of us can't drive away and leave the rest of us. Kit starts sneaking around on his own. Seems like he's got some other prerogative, and he notices his very own car in the distance. Kit's brought his own car. But something was wrong, and luckily, Jenko is able to hotwire that other car, and we can get it running while Collie search for fuel. While all this is going on, Weevil was on the radio, and I think he was like listening to rock music or something. He said he was searching for some signals off in the distance, but all I heard was rock music. Like, man, I love rock music, but I think there are like better things we could be doing. So finally, the group decides who's going in the car, who's going to stay behind for a little while. And I, like the real bra that I am, masterfully land that car outside this gnarly jump, this 60-footer, and then I rip a couple donuts. While I'm spinning and spinning, Brody taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, bro, See that gnarly three-wheeler off in the distance? That's my new puppy. And here's the same kind of rock music coming from that motorcycle that Weasel was listening to on the other radio. Must be a good station. He said that this is where the rock music must have came from, but I don't believe him. I think Weasel was just trying to get his rock on. And now, with the party all motorcycled up, we're all in a vehicle, we're trying to decide where we should go in this vast, dry desert. There you go.
If I had an applause sound effect, I'd be playing it.
Yeah, solid work.
Thank you.
Janko makes a fucking sandwich.
Yeah, they're just staying there. No, good stuff. Definitely worth your little inspo point. You now have a quarter of an inspiration, or a quarter of a bonus point there.
Ayo.
Mark that down. I don't know, maybe in your notes app seems like the best place to kind of put that stuff.
Yeah, I got it.
Worth noting, I was just kind of like, generally when I was checking your low guys' levels, worth noting like, oh yeah, y'all are, potentially slightly over encumbered or close to being encumbered. You guys have a ton of cargo space in the trunk of this car. It's one of those things.
Go space. Cars go cargo road.
Well, you say that.
Cargo desert. Yeah.
It's a space car.
Cargo road.
And you guys have, a big trunk with like what 21 points of encumbrance that you can load it up with.
Yep.
Looks like Weevil has offloaded some things into there. The rest of you guys can do the same if you don't want to risk being heavy.
Yeah, I just ask that you guys update the encumbrance because I marked my stuff down. So
yeah, just make sure you guys are due diligent with your note taking when it comes to like yours. This is going to be very important in general, very much like the bag of holding when it comes to spaceships and vehicles that you guys happen to be sharing. Just make sure you guys are, I guess, kind of on your shit a little bit, doing your best to keep notes straightforward. But yes.
Also, one quick note for Nick. I noticed that Kali had 3 B cells, I think, and Weevil took 1, so I just marked them all under Weevil stuff. Feel free to take as many as you want out of that, just so we're not like getting like, oh, we have 8 B cells now.
Okay, yeah. So right now they're all logged in the trunk. It looks like.
Yeah, I put all the B cells in there.
So they're not on your character sheet, right, Nick? Oh, it's something.
Just a guitar.
Yeah, I hear him in the kitchen. So let me just check. No, they're not on his character sheet.
Okay, cool, we're good. What?
Nothing. We were talking about the B cells, and that you gave them all to Weevil, and you don't have them on your sheet, and you don't.
I was imagining we stuffed them in the car. Like
Yeah, that's
perfect,
yeah. They're in
cool.
they're literally they are in the car.
Doubling up.
Yeah. 666. So as you guys are sitting at the Isabella, this cubular 6 represents you and the size of your party. Rhodey turns off the motorcycle for the time being to save on the gas while he can. Janko has offered to ride shotgun, if you will, on the cycle with Rhodey, and the remaining 4 of you guys can ride in the luxurious Aurora Achilles 5 model, a luxury sort of SUV meant to cruise the streets of a finer place. As per this map, sort of the general location of your surroundings, with the escape pod and its non-existent plumage of smoke at this point lying fairly directly to the south. Its distress beacon presumably still working if the battery hasn't given out and nobody's come to shut it off. The mountain range you settled in to the southeast. Beyond that, further southeast, the mysterious settlement that Janko clocked. Far to the south, straight to the south beyond the escape pod, west of the mysterious settlement, is the other plumage of smoke that you guys had witnessed that Weevil you have clocked your Magellan signal coming from. And to the north, a strange wonderland of more desert. You guys have not scouted to the north. You guys haven't asked, like, hey, what's up there? Same with to the east or west. So, like, you know, I'm going to draw, like, a quick just, like, square here. We'll
I
say,
actually
like...
prefer if you drew a quick math.
Yeah, we'll say, like, you know, in this general area that you guys can kind of see. I mean, obviously not really, like, up here or whatever. But, like, nobody's asked what's up here. So if you want to, like, be like, oh, well, let's keep heading north, well, then you guys have to ask me what's up north and then roll some perception checks, basically. But,
What's up north?
So, yeah, you know, your discussion goes on. Sarah looks at the rest of you as, you know, Kali powers down the car. I'm assuming while you guys discuss this, you guys aren't wasting gas and battery. You guys are sitting there with your cars. And Sarah's like, all right, so we have the means to get around the desert at least for a little while until that fucking hunk of junk runs out of gas. And she motions over to the chopper. I reckon we better not go too far till we have a better source of fuel for that thing, but where do y'all reckon we should go next?
Did Rody tell us that dude said he was a fuel maker? It's like
I think so. I think Rody was like, he said he was a fuel maker, so I shot him in the legs. I don't know what that is.
I have a strong suspicion those guys have fuel, and they might be willing to, you know, part with it if we steal it from them and not tell them.
You want to go
I would
after the
not like to put
cannibals?
myself into a dangerous situation anytime soon.
And Weevil's like face kind of flickers for a second, and like a little spurt of coolant flies out the window from a servo.
I mean, the way I see it is, if we just ditch with these vehicles, we might get somewhere, but we're not going to get that far. We've got like one tank each.
Right. Are we able to so we can actually go really far with the car, if I remember correctly, because the car runs on
Definitely.
B-cells, and we got 4 extra B cells.
Yeah, you have replacement. I think so. Not only, I'm going to double check the short answer, yes, because you definitely have replacement batteries for this fucking thing. And I think just generally the B cells for a car are more efficient than a gasoline motorcycle. Not only because like a motorcycle does not house as much fuel as a car, like its gas tank is smaller. But I think it's one of those things with like TL4 equipment versus TL3 equipment. It's just more fuel efficient. So I'm gonna check. Yeah, I'm gonna check how long. I hopefully it should say, but how long the B cell thing lasts. Anyway, short answer, yes. You guys know that if one of your vehicles is gonna give out, it's gonna be the car, or it's gonna be the motorcycle rather. And you'll have a 5-seater car that you definitely have a significant amount more powerage gasoline in, essentially fuel for, I should say.
Are we able to estimate how far these distances are? Like get a very rough estimate of like what we know, and like I know we haven't done any concrete planning, but like, oh, this is between 80 to 120 miles away, I guess. Like,
you know that based on the fact that you came from the mountain range and just some very like basic triangulation, it probably is about like 60 miles to the escape pod or the mountain range. Reachable easily before nightfall. It's mid-afternoon now. These days are slightly longer than traditional Terran days. Don't super use this as the map that I have in front of you guys as a very like accurate. Oh, you have to scale. I didn't develop a scale
right.
for
Yeah.
this.
I'm mostly just like.
But it is roughly correct. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is actually 7 times further away than that, even though like they look the same distance. Anyway, it's roughly about 60 miles away from the escape pod, and maybe 65 from the mountain range, or 55 to 60. You know, something like that. A little bit closer to the escape pod than the mountain range, you figure. And beyond that, I mean, I think I can give you a number, Weevil, because you have you have the instruments for it. 110 miles is the Magellan signal. 110 miles roughly due south to the Magellan signal, not the mysterious
I'll
settlement.
scoot that over.
Yeah. And then you gather somewhere between 100 and 150 for the settlement at this point. It's hard to tell because, it's 60 miles to the mountain range, and then it was a fair distance away from the mountain range. And then whatever happens to be north is, who knows?
Cool. Okay, so we have some estimates. I guess the other question is, what's the capacity of, are we able to get an estimate of like a hover car in terms of mileage?
Yeah, I am looking for that now. Vehicles require one cell or one refueling per 6 hours of operation.
Okay.
So we're gonna say, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's a time-based operation thing for these power celled fueled cars versus like a mileage thing.
Okay.
Versus, the combustion engine, it's explosions based on how hard you're pushing the gas pedal down. It's a little more dependent on how fast and hard you're pushing it, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Versus these
one thing I'm noticing too that I think Weevil will bring up as we gauge the capabilities of the motorcycle versus the car is that,
According to my estimations, it seems that the motorcycle would be easily outpaced by the car if we are unable to measure our speed accurately. I believe that these vehicles, this car, is time-based in terms of its battery consumption, and so if we attempt to circumvent that by going too fast, we risk losing Mr. Brody and Mr. Jacob.
and essentially in the handbook, motorcycle is listed as max speed 1 and car is listed as max speed 2. So I'm not sure exactly what that means because I didn't read that in depth while we're in the session. But
no, there's no direct numbers. It's used as a simple calculation because like when you're doing like car on car combat, you minus the speed from the AC kind of deal. So they don't want to be like 60 minus AC of 140. Essentially, yeah, the motorcycle, especially because of this dunes, even with sand tires, it's gonna, probably cap out at like 40 miles per hour versus the grav car can probably get up to 80.
All right. Collie will chime in and just give it like, don't worry, dude, leave it in my hands. He's kind of yelling because it's loud as shit while we're driving.
Well, you guys aren't driving now. You guys don't know where you're going, so I'm saying I'm assuming you turned off the cars while you're having this discussion.
Fuck no, dude. My piggies are steaming. Must pull the AC on full blast.
That is a very upsetting analogy.
my piggies are fucking roasting, dude.
This in the background, essentially, while everybody's having a real conversation, Sarah and Kali are arguing over whether the car should be on or off as she continually reaches over and pushes the turn off button, and he keeps turning it on to blast the AC.
Yeah.
The
I
CD
guess-
player doesn't work if the car's off, babe.
That's the fucking point. We only have so much battery, babe.
But I always carry my really cool Hootie and the Blowfish.
I
Did
will
you know
blow
that
your
Darius Rucker was a
fucking
former
brains
member
out.
of Hootie and the Blowfish?
Not now, Evil. We're gonna die.
Last question regarding distance. What's the distance from the Magellan signal to the mysterious settlement? I'm assuming 80
You
to
wouldn't.
90 miles?
You wouldn't really know.
No idea. Okay.
You can do some rough calculations based on I think the numbers I gave you, essentially.
Okay. So, yeah, I'd say about anywhere from 70 to 105 is roughly what it looks like to me. Actually, yeah, probably closer to 100. But yeah, Weevil will kind of, reiterate our choices, and he says,
My vote is that we attempt to go towards the signal that I first encountered when I landed planetside. I do not fully know what lies there, but there is some form of active beacon, and I believe there may be further items and or weapons that may prove useful to our survival. It is likely from a ancient pre-scream vessel, of which I have been searching for quite some time.
I think we should just hit whatever's closest. What do you think's closest, Weevil? Use those cool goggle eyes of yours.
Weevil pulls up the map that he's been drawing on this whole time, and he's like,
I have been showing you this map. The closest two things that we can attempt to go to are the mountain range and the escape pod. The escape pod is one that we have already visited. It is where we landed planetside. And we have also not attempted to search out any position further north of us. It may be possible to get on top of the ruins of the Isabella and attempt to get a better view, but we have not seen if there was any form of salvation or civilization in that direction. And
I think it'd be kind of smart if we rode the mountains all the way down. Hold up, I'm just gonna, because you're putting it on the map, like, I think it'd be smart if we rode the mountains at the side, just in case we hit anything funny, we can duck into there and make our way over to the Magellan signal. Maybe while we're doing that, we can take a peek over at this mysterious settlement. Maybe step on the mountain range for a better view or something.
For what it's worth, these lines are not like the lines of a mountain range. This mountain range is sort of a mountain cluster that extends for a few miles.
Yeah,
So you say
like,
no.
you know?
Yeah, it's the, so we're talking, this is a planet scale kind of map. You know, it's pretty fucking huge. So like roughly the width and size of the token is about the size of the mountain range. So it's about like 5-6 miles long. It's not huge. So there's not a lot of like right along the side of the mountain. You'll be like riding across open dunes for 60 miles before you hit the mountain range. His burrito
By the
also
way, I
just
think
came
we
in.
should take the Magellan signal, and if we can, look off into the distance at the settlement.
I mean, it kind of sounds like Weevil and Collie are on the same page.
Sounds
Yeah,
like you
that's my
want to do this, like, start escape pod, check that out, and then maybe head here, and then look this way. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
the escape pod, that is the one that we came from, right, Alex?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I think that's a very good point. I think it's worth stopping, or not stopping necessarily, but coming within eye shot, because if anything visually has changed, I mean, we've been broadcasting a beacon for like 2 days, so we kind of turned it on and left, which could be a mixed bag. You know, other people could have picked up on the signal and come, or maybe there's a chance that a ship comes by.
I had an idea.
Yep.
Like,
Let's hear it.
yeah, all right. Like, maybe we could just another reason to go to the distress signal before we go to the mysterious settlement is like, if they've been here, in the settlement at least, they've probably heard the signal by now, or at least saw something crash land. So based on how that's been looted, or if there's bodies or whatnot, maybe we can determine if they're like friendly or evil, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, because if we go straight to the mysterious settlement, we're potentially going into the lion's den. You know, like, we don't know.
There is a non-zero chance that the hostile fuel maker came from that settlement, so I do believe it is best to avoid direct engagement unless we are able to get a better sense of the people we may be facing.
Agreed, man. I don't really want to get in any more fights. I'm more of a lover. He flashes a cute smile.
Neither do I.
And Weevil makes a little kissy face on his LED screen.
He does colon asterisk.
Yeah, no, it's like a dot 3 dot.
Sarah says, well, then you can both make love to the next sandcrawler we come across while I drive off to safety.
But I'm the pilot.
Not for
Look at
not
me, I'm the captain though.
yeah, not while you're in a beast's mouth trying to make love to it. Not then you're not. Well, sounds like you guys have a plan for what you want to do.
I think that was our quickest plan ever.
Yeah,
Well, let's go under Michael object.
Dylan's not here.
All Dylan has to say is,
You know what? That's probably why it was such a quick decision-making process, because Dylan's normally the one that clogs things up. Wow, we're so efficient without him. What a fucking putz.
man, I'm glad this recording's never gonna get back to him.
Mhm.
We'll
Yeah.
see. I don't know if anyone else other than me
Nobody
listens to the
nobody
recordings.
mentioned this, but Dollars to fucking Donuts, he doesn't listen. And now's your time to air your grievances about that big protein-fueled piece of shit.
Fucking can't believe that guy's too fucking wide to fit through most doorways.
I know.
Where the fuck does he get off?
He's so hot.
I fucking... You know what I hate? I hate how every time I look at him, and, like, specifically his arms, I just think of, like, the Rocky Mountains because of his biceps, and it's like, ew, you craggly piece of shit. Anyway.
Boy, like a champ.
Dylan is gonna like be 95 and like someone is gonna mail this to him on an SD card in the nursing home and he's gonna be like, they were gassing me up all along.
Okay. So you guys get moving.
Yep.
You fire up the cars. Rhodey cranks that hog, and
and then he turns on the motorcycle.
You fire up the grav cart. It juts up from the sand and begins to hover. And you guys begin to cruise towards the south.
From the distance of the motorcycle, they can hear, "Can you take me higher?"
Yeah, Rhodey is blasting Dad Rock.
Yeah.
Who the fuck had that at the ready?
I did. It's got a little picture of Jesus on a skateboard as the icon on my soundboard.
I love that meme so much.
Oh,
It's so good. Steezus.
Alright. So here. So as you guys begin to head to the south, you spend about the better parts of 3 hours just casually listening to Divorced Dad Rock.
Speaking of, I would like to repair myself as we're going. You know, like I'm in the back seat, like with a little soldering iron, like just like patching up, getting some HP back, if I'm able to.
Sure. How many units of spare parts would you like to consume?
I've got 4, which I'm just gonna burn through all of them because I need more HP in my current fragile state. And I think spare parts are something that we could reasonably salvage if we give it some effort in the future. Is that accurate? Like, okay, right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and
You're in a fucking desert, dude.
yeah, fair enough. I'll spend as like the entire hour needed for each unit of spare parts, 15, 15, 15, 15.
Yeah.
And get 8 hit points back.
Sick. Great. So you listen to your Divorced Dad Rock as Weevil welds himself in the back seat. Don't look at me, I'm indecent. And and eventually you come across the silhouette of your escape pod. As Weevil, you get your 8 HP back, remove your 4 spare parts, and you are still badly injured, technically, for what it's worth.
Fully functional, just delicate.
Yeah, you still have a glaring, like, exposure in your, a lot of, like, you have this section of plating that's been stripped away, and you've just, like, welded on sheets of plate metal over it, basically. And if anything gets through that, it will immediately eat to your, like, hardcore, systems, your hard drives, your mainframes, your et cetera, and you'll die instantly. But yeah. You notice the silhouette, Collie, of your escape pod coming up on the horizon as you pilot this grav car over the dunes with Rhodey in the distance trailing behind. Janko's fur and ears just flapping in the wind.
Rhodey had to stuff him inside his jacket because he kept flying off, so he's like a little chihuahua with his head poking out.
You peer into the distance. Kali, why don't you give me, I don't know, your standard notice wisdom.
Okay.
I'd also take a no int.
That works.
And ask
Oh,
for,
baby.
I'm gonna start asking for notice wisdom a lot less, just for funds.
I'm fucking driving, bro. My eyes are on the road.
This is the only time Kali takes his sunglasses off.
Yeah.
With an 11, you look, and you know one thing. You know that when Janko and Weevil did their thing, whatever they did, the escape pod changed in the sense of there's a large nodule on the top that began emitting a pulsing red light. Hey, distress beacon is now emitting. You can tell even from this distance, the red light has gone out and is not pulsing anymore.
Meaning someone shut it off or it ran out of energy or...
Someone could have shut it off. It could have run out of energy. The
Oh.
weather could have damaged it. Maybe the light itself malfunctioned, but the distress beacon is still actually emitting. There could be a huge plethora of reasons.
Okay, good to know.
But that's the thing you notice from a distance. If you would like to continue to still approach directly to investigate, or if you want to skirt around it, because you guys mentioned like, oh, well, let's just like get a visual lock on it, but then it was made clear what you guys want to do from here. So let me know.
How far is it? Like, if we kept driving, how long would it take us to get there?
No more than, I think, like, by the time you notice this light, no more than 20 minutes.
Okay. Yo, guys, maybe it'd be smart to pull kind of close and then maybe proceed on foot, get more of a stealthy approach, just in case someone's there.
I would agree. I think it would be a good idea to investigate. However, I can only advise caution.
So yeah, I'm on board.
So maybe we could park the cars behind that rock over there, and Kali points to a rock that's probably there.
Sure. Yeah. You guys would be able to pull your vehicles, you know, your approach, if somebody was watching, was not stealthy, right? But if somebody wasn't particularly paying attention, who knows? And you guys are still a ways away, so you park your cars behind a large rock that Kali has pointed out about a mile away from the escape pod itself. And they're securely hidden from view of the escape pod.
Yo, I just had a thought. Maybe we should like approach during the nighttime, so like, all the bad guys go Betty by.
I doubt they'd all be asleep. They'd probably be a sentry we still have to look out for.
Weevil tunes into a radio and he just hears, and now it's time for everyone to go bed at 8 p.m. 99 Fuelmakers.
It's the Teletubbies announcement. It's time for Tubby Night Night.
Unfortunately, you do turn into the radio station and all you hear is kind of static and feedback for a moment before you hear like a... as Rhodey kind of lets one rip into his open mic hanging on his hip.
All right.
Oh, sorry about that. Turns it off.
And then Rhodey gets off the motorcycle and then he just inhales, runs his nose along the seat.
What a sick freak. Yeah, but Sarah looks up at the sky and she's like, I reckon we probably got about, I don't know, somewhere between 4 to 8 hours before it's fully dark.
I
That'd
believe
be a
that
good
we
idea
should.
then. Well, let's take a peek at there from over here.
Yes,
Anyone
let us.
see anything?
I will attempt to see what my elf eyes can see.
And then he he does the same fucking thing where he like voot, 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 and like makes those noises with his servos, not his hands, and cups his hands to his eyes and turns and looks. And then he turns back to Kali with his hands still cupped around his eyes and said,
I am still not able to see any further than any of you.
and he's gonna Roll notice wisdom.
Are you
'cause
turning
Nick asked
the
me-
fucking binoculars again?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Nick
keep
asked
asking
me
him to
too.
look at things.
Probably just can't
Um,
wrap his head around the fact that Weevil doesn't have like super far eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I notice wisdom?
Yeah.
Four.
See, this is weird.
Sorry for my tardiness, by the way.
I
I do not
shouldn't
see
say
shit.
that. See, this is the other thing. I turned all these off for Nick, and I noticed he rolled one check already, notice wisdom, and it's preset his notice to be wisdom now. I'm assuming, Nick, you did not just do that manually, so.
What?
Strange.
Did I notice? Yeah, I did.
Oh, you manually set so it's gonna. Okay, so that's what I was talking about earlier. Is I maybe might not recommend you do that just because it might be notice intelligence or something like that one day, and then you'll have to like go back and revert it. But to each their
Yeah,
own.
but there's a little knob right next to it that says ask when I hover over it, and I
Oh.
can choose intelligence,
Okay.
wisdom, charisma,
Cool.
whatever.
As long as you're cool with that. Cool.
Well, yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't give me my either charisma or wisdom or something bonus. It would just roll it flat, right?
Well, no. Ask would mean it would pop up with an extra dialogue box, and you would get to select it from there.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't
go
know
ahead.
that.
Like if you want to try it out right now, just click notice real quick, and you'll see what I mean.
I did. Like, okay, I'll do it.
but yeah,
strength.
Weevil, you make the noise with your little faux mouth and look at this distress beacon, and unfortunately, yeah, you don't see a whole lot. You notice that kind of like Collie said, the beacon itself, the light signal on top has gone out. You see otherwise no signs of life, no signs of movement, no vehicles, no signs of disturbance really. And just the regular escape pod with that one wing snapped off where it crushed Candy.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah, so Weevil will turn to the others and he'll say,
Visibility conditions are optimal, but I have noticed nothing out of the ordinary. I believe we may be able to proceed as long as we exercise caution and keep one hand on our weapons at all times.
And let's go check it out.
yeah? You said it was about a mile, Alex?
That's where you guys parked from. Yeah.
Cool. I take out the sunshade and I loop it under my arms.
Great. Able to protect yourself on that dainty walk. You all.
I made one too, right?
I think you did.
I did, but it's not in my
There's two.
inventory.
I put one in the trunk. I mean, we could just say that there were two because we did make two.
There were two.
Yes.
I don't know
No,
where the
no.
second one technically went, but
I never put it in my inventory when I made it because
Oh,
I was
okay.
I was not. Admittedly, I was slacking off.
okay. Well, yeah, you have one then. So-
Okay, I'm gonna leave my secure clothing in the trunk and take the thing.
Cool.
Okay, how do I? That's not an actual.
No,
And
you'd have to like just put like, palm shade umbrella or something as the name
Got
and encumbrance one.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about adding shit to this game is you don't need to know like the weight like D&D. We're like, I don't know, does this weigh 10 pounds, 7 pounds? It's just how much encumbrance in it. It's like, 1, 2.
I'm actually gonna leave that in the car because I don't have enough inventory to do that, so it's staying in the trunk for now. Someone else can take it if they want, but I'm going forward on foot.
For this whopping mile walk to the...
Yeah. All right, everyone, make sure you put on your sunscreen.
You guys are
Melanoma
so
is
worried.
No joke.
Does
Meadow,
Kits have a gun? Has anybody given Kits a gun yet? Or
yeah, he has a
I
gun.
wouldn't. You feel like he'd be too twitchy for one.
There was comments about that earlier, but he does have a gun.
I'm leaving my spare gun in the motorcycle because of him.
Okay, the motorcycle does not have storage, so you can put it in
And
the
you
car
leave
if
it
you
on
want.
the motorcycle seat.
Yeah, you could just put it in the sand if you want.
That's a good idea. Just bury it.
He's part bat, not part dog. Anyway, actually, you know what? Let me double check because the motorcycle. I mean, honestly, probably should have like a limited amount of storage. I think. Did I put let's see. Did I put a combustion cycle? Cargo is 5. It does actually have storage, so you can go ahead and slap that on in the motorcycle inventory if you want. You guys should all have access to both the Aurora Achilles Mark V, and the combustion cycle. And
Jaco has already filled the motorcycle storage with sandwich ingredients.
yeah, and you'll be able to tell that you'll see like
Don't
cargo
forget the lube.
space in the upper right. You'll see cargo space, so you can edit
Well,
that
cargo
as
de-
you see fit.
Cargo desert, but
So, everybody can give me a no, I'm not going to do that. You guys begin to creep up onto the wreckage of the escape pod, which you originally landed from. And as you get closer and closer, you don't notice a lot of disturbance. You don't see, it looks like anybody has necessarily been by here. You don't see the remnants of other like fuel maker choppers or tracks in the sand until you get exceptionally close, i.e. you get up to the pod. You do your due diligence, you fan out in a wide line, and you kind of are all peering forward and looking at each other, and you essentially deem it safe before approaching. And as you approach, you notice a couple of things. One, the wing of the escape pod that has snapped off and crushed Candy into a sort of pancake man has been it was originally lodged into the sand at like a 45-degree angle, this big essentially like vertical helicopter blade. It has been pushed over and now lies flat. It looks like something has moved it, whether it be somebody, an animal, or the wind, and pushed it over. You also notice Candy's body is gone.
Ooh.
And I don't know. Volunteer, raise your hand. Who's the brave soul who first peers into the escape pod?
Not I, because I am close.
Rhodey will do it.
Rhodey, you notice that a lot of the electronics of the escape pod have been ripped out, dismantled. Panels have been, I should say, not ripped out, but rather unscrewed from the wall. It's not like an animal came here and went to town. It is like somebody said, "This looks useful," and took it.
Yeah, I got you.
There is a large note pinned to the central console. This rather like kind of big stringy piece of like toilet roll.
Okay.
Written on in this like smeared kind of ink that says, "Ain't nobody here. Come find us if y'all need help. Southeast." A bunch of numbers, which you recognize as longitude, latitude,
Latitude.
and then a hyphen, and it says shit pile.
Gotcha. Well, somebody was here, and they're saying that if we need help, we can meet them at the shit pile, which, and Rhodey will stick his head out from this, this pod and look around. I don't see right away, but
I thought he was calling himself Shitpile, as in a name.
Yeah, dude.
oh,
I
maybe
thought
he's
you were
calling
the
himself the shit pile. See, I thought he was saying this is where the shit pile is, but maybe his name is Shit Pile.
Well, if that was the case, dude, this whole planet would be a shit pile. Am I right?
Hey, waka
Yeah,
waka.
I guess.
I don't know.
I guess we're looking for somebody named Shit Pile. All right.
It's mostly sand. I wouldn't really call it a shit pile.
You need to have more imagination.
Well, all right. Well, let's go look for this Shit Pile guy, I guess.
Well, you had missed that prior to this, and obviously the plan might change here, the plan was to go from, and let me move your token here, the plan was to go from the escape pod to the Magellan signal, and then maybe check out the mysterious settlement. Weevil, you are able to plug in those coordinates, those longitude and latitude that he gave you, and they roughly align with where the mysterious settlement should be.
Gotcha.
They are southeast to a similar degree.
Yeah.
They
I
seem
mean,
friendly.
They perhaps are attempting to lure us and may attempt to take more from us, but it is impossible to know for sure. Janko, when
You really
saw
think
this-
Shit Pile would do that to us?
I do not know what I am saying. Good old shit pile. How could I question him?
Yeah.
Mr. Quick, when you were on the mountain, did you see any form of insignia on the mountaintop or the settlement, or was it purely just an assemblage of scrap?
I just saw scrap. I saw metal walls, sort of a
Gotcha.
little tower structure. I didn't see any like flag that said shit pile on it or anything.
Ship Pile City. Okay.
Why would
the Shit Pile?
why would the city have his name on it?
He's the mayor.
I'm Shitpile. I'm Jonathan Q. Shitpile, mayor of Shitpile. Oh man.
The powerful name around these parts.
Yeah. The Shitpile line goes back generations.
Yeah.
I would still like to visit the Magellan signal, as I believe that it may be very important to our long-term survival. However, I do agree that this seems like a good direction to go. We are lacking in terms of next steps, and I believe that this is a good option.
And essentially, Weevil will say, oh, actually, Alex, now that I have both the signals that I've been able to ping off of, because I have the exact location of each, can I get a specific number for if we go to the Magellan, then the mysterious settlement? I'll roll for it if you'd like me to, but
Yeah, I think you. Yeah, go ahead and roll for it. Because it's a little difficult to.
program.
I would say program it would be fair.
Cool. I'm just gonna make sure this does the 3d6 thing. Yes. Okay. 5 plus 2, so 7 plus 2. Wait.
Yeah, you rolled 5, 2, and 1, and it discarded the 1 plus 2 plus 1.
Okay. Cool. Yep.
With the 10, you gather it'd probably be somewhere just south of
13 feet.
just north of 100 miles.
Okay.
I don't have an exact number for you. It doesn't really
Gotcha.
matter.
So
As we discussed
estimates
with the
would be-
battery life of the car.
Yeah, estimates. So I know that this map isn't exactly accurate, but would we have to go like this to get to the Magellan signal?
No.
Or would we be able to go like that?
You could go straight.
Okay.
This just it indicates maybe like raised sections of dunes, but you have a grav car and a motorcycle with sand tires. They can
Okay.
go up hills.
Cool,
So
cool.
you're good.
So essentially,
If we attempted to visit the Magellan signal and then make a detour to the settlement that may or may not be called Shitpile, I believe that it would be roughly around 150 to 180 miles. Is there enough fuel in the tank of your motorcycle there, Mr. Roadkill, to get us that far? I believe the car will be able to make it to both places, but I would like to ensure that we are all able to.
Yeah.
Or we may
You-
use this under course of action.
Check and see.
You verify Rhodey and Collie that Collie, the grav car, has about half a battery left before it needs to be swapped out, which you know is not necessarily a huge crisis issue because you have 4 batteries in reserve. Of course, Weevil does potentially need those batteries eventually.
I can keep 1 and be good for a week. So
Yeah. So you have 3 batteries, let's say, to be extraordinarily safe. Rhodey, on the other hand, you notice that you probably have about, based on your trip from the Isabella to the escape pod, you probably have about 3, maybe 4 hours worth of gas left. And we're going with the precipice of, like I said, roughly 5 feet on this map equals 50 miles. And that's also going to equal about a 3-hour stretch.
okay. So essentially,
Okay, so I suffice to say, I'm not going to have enough gas to get there.
You could maybe get it. You could probably get to the Magellan Signal, but you wouldn't be able to. You'd probably fall short of the Mysterious Settlement if you
Yeah.
went, and then you wouldn't be able to go from the Magellan Signal to the Mysterious Settlement without
I
more
think we
gas.
should use settlement first. Maybe get gas from these guys if they're not assholes.
You wouldn't be able to make it to the settlement with
the only
bike. Again,
the only
again,
location
like, yeah,
options we
if you
have
just
are-
look at the
yeah.
map, you have, again, 5 feet, roughly, give or take. You know, like, oh, this is 5.9, whatever, it's 50 miles. That's 3 to 4 hours of travel. Rhodey has 3 to 4 hours of gas left. So Rhodey could essentially get just short of the Magellan Signal, but to get to the Mysterious Settlement, you'd run out of gas like halfway, if not earlier.
Yeah. So I think Rhodey will suggest that we go to the Magellan Signal. If we need to if Rhodey needs to walk the rest of the way, so be it. But that'll at least get us closest, and then we can hopefully find gas, or because the car runs on just battery, yeah.
Yeah, B cell
have
batteries, which you have
Okay.
several of.
Yeah, just the battery. Okay. Then yeah, maybe we can at the Magellan Signal. Maybe there's something that we can use, but if not,
Yeah, and-
then
And Weevil will point up and like he'll say,
I do believe, and I'm in agreement, that it would be best to go to the Magellan Signal. It is from a ancient pre-tech ship, although I do not know if this is perhaps a single escape pod or a much larger section of the vessel. Either way, I believe there is a chance that there may be either an alternative form of locomotion or perhaps some reserve fuel that was put in a canister ages ago.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a solid plan because we're kind of limited with our options, and if we go back to the Isabella,
right.
we're just burning fuel to burn fuel.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Let's head back. Or head to the Magellan. I mean. Oh my God.
Yes.
So that's the plan.
Let me mute myself.
Stinky boy.
You guys, go ahead and turn your car. Or you guys hike back to your cars. The mile it takes to get back to your cars from the escape pod. And you go ahead and fire them back up and press on. Press on to the sound. What's up?
Okay.
Did Nick was saying something?
What?
I thought you just said I want.
Didn't you
Yeah,
start
I
to say
could have
something?
sworn Nick just said something. Yeah.
You want? I want.
I did.
What do you want?
You started to.
What do you want, Nick? God.
I want a couple things.
Just tell me what you want. Don't make me
I'm
hang.
also with a national spelling bee. You ever seen that movie?
No, I don't know what the fuck you're talking
Yeah.
about, man.
Anyway, you fire your cars off to the south.
Burn all the
And,
gas before we leave.
Yeah, I'd like to do donuts in the sand for 30 minutes, actually.
I've already done some.
That is your prerogative as a player. I will allow it. You head south. As the sun begins to set, the weather begins to cool off. It goes down over the horizon. You guys reach a point roughly about, we'll say, here. The majority of the way to the signal, you can still see this slightly, we'll say, medium-sized billowing plume of smoke, which indicates a couple of things. I'm not gonna tell you the answers, but your escape pod has stopped smoking since it, as we've already covered. It stopped smoking since its crash. It's been 2 days. The fires have subsided. Whatever this is, it's still smoking. You again notice that the original plume is bigger than your escape pods. Visibility has been needing to get lower and lower as you near where this should be originating from. Collie and Rhodey, the drivers of the vehicles, I'm going to ask you guys to give me a check. I'll ask for I think I'll take notice or pilot. God, I really want to stop asking for notice wisdom to like look at shit and ask for other stuff to be more unconventional, but like it just seems like the most fitting.
I mean, pilot kind of works because you're paying attention to the road, right?
Yeah, well, this is why I'm like, let me give you pilot, but then wisdom. So we'll take pilot wisdom in this case.
What about it? Would maybe like pilot dexterity work for avoiding something, or
No, because you're not avoiding
like,
it. It would if you're avoiding something. You're not avoiding anything.
Okay.
A 9 and a 10 respectively. Very good on both ends. As you guys are, Cully, you're easing off the gas because your car accelerates over these dunes a lot easier than Rhodey's motorcycle, which has to navigate the physicality of them. But you guys are keeping neck and neck as you cruise, and he hustles, and you guys are keeping an eye ahead of you. And you guys both notice as you crest a dune, instinctively you both kind of come skidding to a halt, hovering down, pausing for a brief moment. As you notice, Rhodey, as you are just about out of gas, your thing is on, your needle is on empty. You have maybe a few miles left in you. Cully, kind of the same. You're about to have to swap out your battery. Your indicator reads you have about 3% left in your tank, which will get you about another 10 miles or so maybe. But you guys both notice, and your reason for stopping is that as you crest this dune and you get a new sense of visibility, you're able to look down over this like slight sandy valley and into the source of presumably not only the signal, but this plume of smoke as well. A crater. A large crater, maybe half a mile to a mile in diameter, kind of sunken into the desert floor itself, made of rock and limestone on the sides. Again, visibility at this point as the sun has gone down over the latter half of this 6-hour journey, and the sandstorms are slowly beginning to roll in. It's beginning to get limited, so you can't quite see everything that's going on, but you do see flickers of light in the darkness. You see kind of like almost signs of fire. You see this plume of smoke coming from, not necessarily from the crater, but you see it up in the sky, high above the crater, above the clouds of rolling sands on the desert floor. You see the general gist of this crater, at least the first half, the half that's towards you. You don't really see how far out it goes. Yeah. And with a 10 for Rhodey, I will give you you hear on your radio signal, on your comm, it's been static for the past day now, aside from Weevil occasionally communicating with you. It's been static. You hear...
Just look out, a rock 1 mile away on your left.
Just like that all day.
You hear now, again, more static, just... But then, intercut within, you kind of hear this... This kind of this intercut chatter underneath 6 layers of static that occasionally cuts through. Not indistinguishable as to what they're saying, what language they're even speaking, but it's something more than just garbled language, or rather something more than just garbled noise, which is what you've been getting all day.
Okay.
And that's what you guys get with a 9 and a 10.
Getting closer to a signal, essentially. We're getting within range. Because then, okay, so then the radio that I have, am I able to change the frequency at all to maybe try and adjust and get closer to the?
You can. Yeah, it's a walkie-talkie with a radio dialer on it, so you can turn in signals. What I will tell you, you spend just a couple of minutes tweaking it. What you have it on as in what you found it on, is the clearest signal you're getting. The issue seems to be you're outside of the radius. These are very limited radius, 2 mile specifically, walkie-talkies, and you are presumably slightly more than 2 miles away from whatever the fucking other end of this is broadcasting. So it's a proximity issue, not a signal issue.
Yeah, not signal issue. Okay, copy that.
So yeah, you have eyes on this this crater, presumably where the smoke is coming from. Weevil, you determine you're about 3.5 miles away from the source of the Magellan signal. You guys both, Collie and Rhodey, see this crater.
And
Yeah.
am I able to 100% confirm the direction of the signal is basically in the
Seems to
direction towards the middle
Yep.
of the crater? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, whether it's in there or not, or further on, who knows? But
No, it seems to be about in the crater,
gotcha.
distance-wise and direction-wise.
Okay. Just to confirm, I would like to ask to skirt. Well, I mean, if we're able to basically confirm that from here, it's not necessary. But I was going to ask to like ride along for about a half mile around the crater's perimeter, and then just see if it still seems like it's pointing towards the middle. But I don't know if that would tell me anything.
If you go around, if you were to like skirt, like fully circle the crater, it would tell you that it's in the crater. Yes, the signal origin would change.
Okay.
It would just be
I mean-
super not, I guess, just for full transparency, it wouldn't be a very stealthy move.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, it'd be productive in determining, it's in the crater, but like, hey, if there's something in the crater, it's gonna probably see something just driving a loop around the crater.
Gotcha.
My sensors are indicating that the point of interest for the beacon may be in the crater. However, I believe you two have already noticed that it seems there are also unintended visitors here as well, or perhaps even full-time residents. I am not sure. I wonder if there may be multiple factions, as my first thought is, oh no, the fuel makers may be here if the shit pilers are not in shit pile.
I thought the man's name was Shitpile, not the. I'm
That's what I thought,
lost.
so.
Okay,
We are
I'm getting
unsure.
confused. Is it that his name is Shitpile and he has a town called Shitpile? Is the town called Shitpile, or is this man, absent from his relation to the town, just called Shitpile?
You remember the old world family of the Duggars? I believe it is like that. There are many, many generations of shit piles all living together, and possibly having relations.
I believe his name is Shitpile, bro.
I think it's
I
a
mean,
philosophical question.
Hold on,
of
Weevil,
what
are you
came,
saying that you think that Shitpiles are fucking each other?
what
is
came
pure conjecture.
first? The
It's
shit or
not-
the pile?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, where's the shit or the pile?
I don't know, dude. Maybe they're like a collective and they're all Shitpile.
Yeah, it's like
There's
it's like a
pile
hive
of
mind.
them.
Yeah.
There's a pile of-
Oh god, they're
Or
a hive
maybe-
mind of
maybe-
cannibalistic
No,
aliens.
I'm
It could be.
No, I'm
It could be that his first name is Shit and his last name is Pile, and it's a collective of piles, and they're different kind of piles. He's just shit.
Essentially, all we know is the letter was signed off as shit pile.
Yeah,
What if the shit pile is an acronym?
yeah.
Send help into. I don't remember. I don't know the rest. Oh man. Okay, so essentially, Weevil will say,
Yeah. I believe that we are limited with our options. Stealth is advisable, but there is also sandstorms that we will have to contend with, and I do not believe that we will all fit inside the vehicle if we decided to attempt to shelter inside the car tonight. Also, the passenger side window is missing.
Collie fucking punched it out to let Jenko into
Right,
Hotwire, if I remember
Rhodey
correctly.
did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that. I was gonna say, what idiot did that?
Yeah,
Rhodey
neither of
puts down
these
his idiot
cars.
out of
It
his
turns
hand.
out.
Yeah, Sarah investigates the cars for a second. She looked kind of. She's like, "Yeah, neither of these are going to provide proper shelter from the from any desert weatherings, unless we stuff good old Jenko here in the trunk. Maybe he'll be safe and he can dig us out in the fucking morning."
Yeah, yeah.
We could like use Janko as a blanket.
We can use them as Jenko jeans.
Blankets aren't the issue. The issue are the roving.
Django, more like Blanco. Blanco. Brody's eyes cross over, roll to the back of his head.
Yeah, one of his eyes rolls at like a slightly like it's just a little bit slower than the other one when he looks around.
The problem is the massive kick up of dust and the sand that's about to overtake us in a few hours, if not minutes, burying us alive, cutting up our lungs, limiting our visibility, blowing us all around, filling the air with all sorts of wind-lack frequencies to the point where I'm not going to be able to hear y'all if y'all need help 15 feet away and vice versa. It's not about, can I get a mink shawl? And she looks at Collie and then Janko. Warmth ain't the fucking issue here.
Sounds like we can't stay here, so we better hope that whatever's in this crater is a little bit more... Do you think there's cover in there anywhere, or is this like... Can we tell that it's not that deep? Like,
I believe if we are within the crater to some degree, we will be provided with some measure of shelter, although it is impossible to say.
we'll dodge most of the wind, but there's going to be probably sand just pouring in, making like an unstable ground.
Well, you know that to a degree, it's like, how bad could it be if the crater's still here? It's not like sand pours into this crater and fills it up necessarily, so it seems shelterous to a degree.
Either way, before we brave this weather and crater, I kind of want to maybe patch myself up again in case we get like shot up. Like, can I check out that med kit and any of the minor stims or whatever?
Weevil pulls out the med kit and he's like, "Why did you not think to ride with me and attempt to ask me to do this in the 8 hours that we were driving?"
I just wanted wind in my ears.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you guys
and
have
sand in your open wounds.
You guys have Bezoar and Lift. Bezoar, you know, is a disease, or it's like a penicillin drug. It's disease oriented. It won't do you any good since you're not diseased, you're just injured. Lift, however, is solid. You'd be able to inject yourself with Lift to heal 1d8 plus the user's heal skill after 5 minutes of injecting it. So you inject it, and you just give it a minute to set and circulate through the bloodstream, and you get some HP back. They don't work on you if you're mortally wounded, but you're not. That just means if you're down and in that critical state like Weevil is. Or no. Sorry, mortally wounded and critically injured are different. Mortally wounded means unconscious. So they could help you if you're critically injured. That's fine, actually. They add 1 system strain to you. And you have a limited number of times you can like inject it to yourself before your body caps out. The med kit is good for, he's pasting these here. Med kit is just solid for long-term treatment and stabilization. So Lift is really the only thing that can help you here, which you only have 2 injections of.
I mean, hey, if we have it, might as well use it. But yeah, that is a consideration. Weevil will give it to you and offer to administer it, but I don't think that it will allow me to do. I mean, it says it requires heal 0. Weevil has that. I think I can transfer the benefits onto you, hopefully, where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's
like I can use it and attempt to treat him.
Yeah, it requires heal 0, so that's all you need, as long as your heal's not -1.
I mean, yeah, I'll take it. I just don't want to go into this unprepared and be like, oh, I'll be fine, then take like 8 damage and like fucking die.
Yeah, so I guess I imagine the way this works is, we pulled over kind of out of direct view of the lip of the crater, still a good distance away, and Weevil kind of clumps through the sand, still with a bit of a limp, but he uncaps the syringe of Lift and kind of holds it up, and like the needle glints in the light, and he like does the doctor tap fingers on it thing, get all the air out.
Are you scared of needles, Jenko?
Honestly, no. Shoot it up.
Okay, good.
And Weevil tabs it into your neck. I don't know. I imagine it's like a stim pack in Fallout where it doesn't actually need that much delicate use because it's an advanced pharmaceutical. So it's like...
It is good to hear that you are not scared of pills.
it's like fucking sinks it into the side
with
of your
a
neck.
surprising amount of force, he sinks the into your neck, and you go jolting to the side, almost like pushing you down into the sand with the amount of force applied.
Yeah, I
Janko
think-
offered his arm, but you just grabbed him by the neck. It's cool.
Yeah, like fucking Bart, Homer choking Bart. Yeah, I think Weevil would be more delicate than that, but yeah, I agree. He's probably got too much force for a Palgan. You know, he is not anticipating how light Janko actually is. So it says the boost speeds natural recovery and heals 1d8.
So you roll
plus
1d8
skill
plus
skill in it.
heal, so it'd be 1d8 plus 0, I think, for you.
I actually have a heal level 1. I just said 0 because that was the minimum requisite.
So you fucking lied to me. Okay.
I did.
He
Hey,
did
buddy,
water-
you get 2 hit points back. Oh,
Ain't that
You
swell?
tried.
Ain't that swell?
I'm so sorry, Janko.
Janko was squirming too much as you were slitting his throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Weevil actually completely missed the fact that Palgans have just one gigantic vein that runs up their body. So he was aiming for one that wasn't actually there.
So he's like a shrimp with hair on it.
Yeah. Make sure that when you eat your Palgan fritters, you devein them.
I hope you guys know that all of these are now becoming canon. Palgans do not have buttholes. They vomit like owls, and they have one shrimp vein in them now. We are establishing Palgan biology as we go.
I love this. Meanwhile,
Um,
we're never going to discuss this for any other creatures. I love that.
That's fine. These are all canon events. Yeah, unfortunately, the doesn't quite take. The lift doesn't take as well as it should. You only feel moderately better given your, extraneous circumstances. You get your 2 HP back plus 1 system strain. Yeah.
Alright, and adding 1 system strain.
As you kind of take a breather, you guys rest for a couple minutes while that takes hold. Sarah says, "All right, so while our furry friend here absorbs his drugs, what's the plan? How are we approaching this? Should we flank from the side? Should we all come from one angle? Should we drive up? Should we walk up?"
I'm not really a combat strategist.
End of sentence.
Like
Sarah shoots you
Yeah.
a finger gun, and she goes, "That was incredibly unhelpful."
Why don't you speak on Mrs. Guns first?
Mrs. Guns for hands.
I have an idea if you would like me to voice
we don't
it,
know. We don't know what shit pile or whatever pile has going on in there. We don't know how friendly they would be.
it's worth noting this
So
is not
maybe-
shit pile.
Yeah, ship pile.
Oh,
was the
right,
mysterious
right,
settlement.
right. Yeah, that's the mysterious settlement.
Uh,
I think,
So-
I think, regardless, I was not paying attention. I was too focused. I was thinking about shitting and piling. And thinking about the anatomy of our bat friend over here. Maybe only a couple of us should go up, and the rest should stay back just in case. You know, with sights on them.
But like, just in case what, dude? The other ones get jumped and then we're too far away to help?
well, we have a couple rifles, so potentially some of us could
Yeah.
have eyes looking down the slope.
I know Sarah's a good shot. Like, she can shoot a bottle off a fence farther than a pickle barrel in a rat field.
She winks at you.
Who in the what?
She goes, "This guy fucking
Rhodey,
gets it."
Rhodey will offer to go. Rhodey will offer to go
I'm
up, by
okay
the
to
way.
go too. I'm a little hurt, but I'm tiny. I can sneak up.
Yeah, Weaver, why don't you stay behind? You look like you're stiff wind from dying.
Like,
I
look,
think that is an
everybody.
excellent idea.
Like, look, everybody. I'll save the team. I'll be the savior. I'll go up. And Macaulay whipped out his shield.
She
Check it out, and it's like burning through the battery.
Yeah. I should mention that I'm making an adjustment to what. Luckily, this is where most of you guys not really reading the book too closely comes in handy. I'm making an adjustment to what the Force Pavis is in a whole. It's a limited use item. It can only deflect like so many attacks, or i.e. operate for so long before the whole unit becomes defunct. Not like I need to change its battery, but like the thing breaks. The thing is the battery. So after a while, it's going to become useless if you I guess, use it for too much. Which I am keeping track of based on the first combat and based on things going forward. Just so you guys know.
Well, I think.
But they're still good for a while. They have a good battery life.
How long does it take to activate? Like, can I split second activate one if I see someone charging?
No. It's not an instant reaction like that. I think it's an item you have to just have readied or stowed. If you have it readied, it's out, and it costs a main action to unstow an item. So if it's in your hand, I don't know. Let me look here. Shields. I think technically yes. I think like the idea is if it is in one of your hands, you have the device in one of your hands, you technically have the shield, right? Imagine it like a D&D shield of like a iron kite shield. It's in your hand, it's occupying one of your hand slots, it's readied, it's in your inventory, blah blah blah. It's basically out. So you can have a cool moment of like, he swings on me and I activate it. But your AC is technically 15 the whole time anyway. You know what I mean? Because of the shield, because you're holding the shield. But yeah, so you can kind of just have it in your hand, the little activating device, and then activate it at will, as long as you have a hand slot free for it. For sure.
In that case, I'm going to put my rifle in the car, take my pistol out, and use the shield so I have a little more AC.
Yeah. That's worth considering as well. Is readied versus stowed items versus shields versus two-handed weapons.
Fair. The other thing I wanted to mention that I just noticed with experimenting is that there's an option under the shield button where you can mark it as readied, but if you also mark it as readied on your inventory, it counts twice. So just make sure you're only doing one of those, because I learned that the hard way, and I now have an extra inventory slot open.
Yeah, if you want to keep your like shield in your inventory as other versus your one that you're in your armor as stowed / readied, then that's a good way to do it. I guess the idea is if it's a piece of armor, or if it's your armor, then like you could probably just keep it in your armor section. You wouldn't need to put it in your inventory because the armor section has stowed and readied options anyway. Up to you. Anyway, Sarah says, that might actually, the old man has a good idea. As some of us come up and there are issues that arise, we would have the high ground on top of the crater in case something goes wrong and we need to start shooting. Might be good for, the injured robot to stay back. Maybe the injured furry one to stay back as well.
Honestly, yeah. I'm a good enough shot. I can be in the distance, but if anybody else is feeling lucky, we go up with.
He's actually a small human who's dressed like a Palgan, and it's like his persona.
He's just Italian.
He's just very, very hairy.
Kits goes, yeah, and I'll stay back to provide cover as well. And gives like 2 thumbs ups.
Cover to myself behind this car.
Yeah, and he says that from behind the car. So she looks at Rhodey, who proposed the plan. Does that sound like a plan to you? Do you have any adjustments? What are we doing here, guys?
Looks like Rhodey and Collie are going in.
We're like moving forward, dude. And Collie will start injuring. I won't
Yeah,
let
what he
that-
said. And then
I won't let my
Rhodey will.
friend in the world go down.
Do you
Your
want
best
me
friend in
to?
the world?
Do you want me to tag with, or should I stay back with everybody else? Just you two?
See, I think like
Why don't you should stay back. I don't think Weevil can do much. No offense, Weevil. It's just given the situation.
That is fair. I am a crack shot with a needle, but not much else.
Sarah,
He says, having jabbed Jenko in a non-existent vein.
yeah. All right. And I guess you guys begin to walk towards the crater. Yeah?
yeah.
As Kali and Rhodey disappear over you guys have backed up your vehicles a little bit, so you guys are slightly behind that aforementioned kind of peak dune that you creeped over and you saw it, so you backed over it for cover. As they kind of crest the dune and disappear for a split second, Sarah turns to Jenko and she's like, "Do you mind if I get that laser rifle off you?"
Yeah, you can take it. Go for it.
Much obliged. And I'm gonna add that to her inventory. And she kind of cocks it real quick and looks at it. It's like, very good. Yeah. So we are left with Kali and Rhodey as you guys begin to approach, as the rest of the party looks on from a distance in careful observation.
Yeah. I've cracked the sunroof on the Aurora, and my head is poking out of it.
You guys begin to creep towards this crater ever stealthily as the winds whip up, the dust and the sand begins to whirl through the air. Visibility is slowly decreasing minute by minute. And Rhodey, your radio begins fizzle and crackle as you begin to pick up heavy rock music being kind of played. And in the faint distance, a very subtle conversation of just like, unintelligible over the music
Yeah.
and around, but it's beginning to get clearer and clearer with every step you take, every move you make. They're watching you.
I enjoyed that joke.
Yeah, you and Kali begin to ever so slowly slide through the sand, closer and closer and closer. The signal beginning clearer and clearer. You crank the gain on your radio down in case somebody's hearing something. It's only broadcastable to you and Kali. And as you begin to press towards the crest of the crater itself, you see it begins to slope down and in. The flames and the fires are beginning to get clearer and clearer. The haze is beginning to lift. Why don't you or Kali pick one, roll me your standard notice wisdom check, and then you or Kali, and I don't want you guys to name numbers here, but you or Kali roll me a sneak dex check as well.
So one of
All
us.
right, I'll do.
One of you roll each.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, Kali rolls sneak dex. I'll roll notice whiz, since I'm looking for. Not only am I listening to the radio, but I have my eyes peeled for potentially, as we get closer, whatever could be emitting this.
I smell.
Or any more signs of that.
Kind
You
of.
smell, bitch. Notice whiz. Here's my notice whiz. Do you notice my whiz?
And we'll roll for some enemies real quick. Not some enemies, some other people. They could be friends.
Thanks, Alex.
That's rough. No, wait, I gotta roll d6s. It's cocked. Still not great. And amazing. I think what happens here is this. You guys get up to the precipice of this crater where it begins to seriously slope downwards. Rhodey, you clock about 100 to 200 feet. Wide window, I know. To your left, i.e. the east, there is a wooden ramp, a wooden and scrap metal constructed ramp that goes up to the lip and then begins to wind down underneath you. And in fact, you look down underneath you, down the slope, and you see that it does actually, you could jump off of this and then land on this ramp. It's like a 60-foot fall. You might not want to do that. You could potentially slide down the edge. Might be a bit messy, might be a bit loud. I.e., anyway, there's a ramp that starts to your left and slopes down and down as it goes to the right until it gets to the bottom of this crater along the border. As you also look forward into this crater through the dusty haze, it actually gets a little clearer as you look down, as the wind, as Janko mentioned earlier, the wind doesn't really whip down into this crater as much, so the visibility actually increases as you look down. And you're able to see essentially what is a small encampment of about a dozen and a half small ramshackle metallic shacks made out of what is clearly scrap metal, pieces of ships and shit like that have been roped and tied together. The main feature of this sort of encampment to the opposite side of the crater from where you currently are is the sort of butt end of a slightly larger ship to the direct south, essentially, so across the way from you. It's the butt end of this ship. It looks like a small frigate class ship. Again, it's just the ass end of it, though. Like, it's not sunken into the ground so much as something has severed it. But it is making what is the equivalent of a house, while the rest of these shacks are trailers, if you know what I mean. There's a size difference. Throughout the camp, you can see some shadows moving around, as well as a couple of small kind of campfires dotted around. You vaguely hear some rock music with a 10 playing, echoing through the sands. And that is cut off by the roaring sound of a chopper kind of roaring up on you as a light beams onto you guys, and you hear as seemingly as this person has seen you, you have seen them. You guys have stumbled onto each other on accident as the chopper comes skidding to a halt in the sand, and you hear kind of just like a mumbled, a sort of mumbled, garbled.
What the fuck? Hey, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing out here?
As the chopper begins to grind to a halt.
Well, my buddy and me, we're like, well, we happen to, huh?
As you guys begin to...
Don't listen to him. He's stupid and dumb, and he smashed his head when we crash landed on this planet. See, look back.
And he turns the motorcycle off. The light dims down, and this person unstrides this motorcycle. Rhodey, you recognize the silhouette enough to know that this seems to be somebody wearing desert garb and a gas mask.
This is a fuel maker for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, he goes... As he begins to walk a little bit closer to you, still seemingly a little bit confused about this situation.
He goes, wait, no, what the fuck are you two doing out here?
Well, my friend and me, we had crash landed on this planet. See back there? And I'll point to the, just like off in the distance towards some of the wreckage. Possibly, I guess, the wreckage of the Isabella, since it would be the biggest. Well, we were one of the survivors of that. Well, two of them. And, anyway, there's a crazy guy over there with a gun.
He cuts you off as you are like pointing towards the Isabella, and you're like, "Yeah, we crash landed." He goes,
Wait, you're fucking outsiders. And he goes to like
reach for a gun on his hip.
Ooh, okay.
Like, no, dude.
Like, we, man.
Yeah,
Wait, man.
we're like friendly sand people as well. We dwell from the rocks over there, you know. We just found a bunch of stuff on the crash landed ships. You know, we're like friendly sand people too. You and I, we're brothers.
Oh,
We're
yeah, I
acting
think it's
troop.
too
We
late
role
for
play as
that.
off-world.
At this
Oh,
point,
yeah, I think it's past.
At this point, he's leveled a revolver at you guys. He's not shooting, but as you guys continue to talk, he's had the time to pull out the revolver.
Rhodey will show his bare hands, like show his hands.
Yeah.
I'm unarmed. I don't have any. I mean, I do have like a knife and maybe some stuff on me, but I ain't holding nothing. I ain't got nothing in my hands.
stuff. What the fuck does that? Hey,
He looks at Kali then.
he's like, he just said you crash landed here. You're not desert people. Don't try and play me for a fool.
It's like I said, during the crash, he smacked his head and he's dumb. All the stuff fell out of his ear.
No, dude, like he's totally lying. He's the one who's dumb. We're sand people.
What the fuck is wrong with you two? Either way, I thought you were my brothers. So thanks for making it real clear you're not. Why don't you two get up?
Well, maybe we don't know what our parents did.
I swear.
Rhodey's gonna start taking a step away from Kali. In fact, I don't even know this guy very well. I don't know him at all, I'll tell you the truth. He seems a little crazy to me. I'm gonna try and create some distance between me and Kali.
Yeah, you can create like 5 feet of distance if you want.
You get 5 distances.
5 distances.
Yeah.
1 distance is a foot. Do you want to? Are you trying to make like a lot, or is 5 good enough for you?
I probably want to get up to maybe more like 10. The idea is I want there to be a little bit of, like if he's pointing at Kali, he has to turn to point at me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll give you. I mean, yeah, I'll give you 10. He can't aim it, but it's a revolver. He has to shift his aim.
Right,
anyway.
no,
It's
for
a
sure.
10
I just need a little
10
bit of
foot.
space so that I can make.
Yeah.
So then while I'm hands up, I'm gonna engage my telekinetic field, which obviously I can do. It's without any sort of thing to it, and it's invisible. So
Yeah, one
We're
thing
gonna
I do,
go ahead and
I
engage
do want
that.
to, I want to check real quick. I just want to.
Like, dude, wait, we were just on our way back to see my friend Shit Pile. Wait.
Oh, you two need to shut the fuck up for a split second, alright? Here's the deal. You say shit pile?
yeah, shit pile.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's his first name or last name or his whole name.
He's
I don't know
like
the town name.
he's like a bro of mine. We go way back.
We also, it could be a town. We're still trying to figure that out.
Oh my god.
And you see for a split moment, in fact, this guy actually stops aiming the gun at you and starts scratching his head with his own revolver in frustration.
Can I try to scare him so that he pulls the trigger and kills himself?
No.
Boom! Did I get you? Did I get you? Did you blow your lid?
He then levels the revolver back at you.
You, and he's like, alright, listen, you clearly are not from here. And that in and of itself is not a terrible thing. Why don't you two
And he beckons with the revolver.
come with me into our little shelter, get out of the sandstorm, and we'll talk things over with Rage.
Can we like?
Oh, is that his? Any relation to shit pile? Is he rage pile?
No. Rage, we have nothing to do with shit pile, alright? That place is a scourge, alright?
No, it is a place.
Yes. Rage is my
I'll look at
boss.
Kali.
She'll tell you about
I told
shit
you.
pile.
I told you it was a place.
What did-
He looks at Kali.
Ollie, did you think shit pile was a person? Who the fuck thinks shit pile? You're dumb. You know that, okay? Okay, Bahama-Mama, you're fucking stupid.
Like, dude, don't call
me Bahama-Mama, dude.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I want to take her. Anyway, let's head inside.
No, I hurt my feelings.
All right, Queens, Clearwater, and Margaritaville. You're coming with me. Come on.
All right, I see a bad moon rising anyway. Ready to start walking with him. Hands still up. I still have the telekinetic armory engaged, and I'm not turning that off. But obviously they don't
You've
know.
seen
So.
this is still your second for the day, considering it's the day since you committed
Yep.
precog. But
Yeah. I still have I have it on my sheet. Precog is still committed.
Listen, bro, like, we'll totally come, but Collie's gonna lower his shield. Like, let's
Yeah, I'm gonna come.
let's be cool about this, you know? Collie lowers his shield and like acts friendly.
Hey, look, I'm not gonna be the one to shoot you unless you try anything stupid, alright? I'm not that guy. Rage is a different story. If she doesn't like you, that's on her. But, we'll at least get you out of this shit.
and he gestures towards the general kind of madness around him.
Oh, well, dude, we thought you were like an enemy, alright. We're cool dudes.
Yeah.
We were just listening to some Creed on the way over here. Do you like Creed?
I fucking love Creed, dude.
Well, I mean, it sounded. I don't know exactly what it was, but it did sound pretty good. It was hard to tell with all the static, but I think I'd like it if I could hear it.
He looks at he looks at Collie. He's like, I fucking love Creed, and he looks at Rhodey, and he's like,
You know who fucking Creed is? I don't know. You guys are confusing the shit. I don't know which one of you to hate more. You guys keep getting on my good and bad side. Get the fuck in the camp, alright?
and he like is
All right, I'm
angrily
going.
gesturing with the revolver.
Maybe I'd like it if you let me listen to it. Just because I haven't heard it doesn't make me a bad man. Pretty much go inside.
Right, so he's gonna gesture with the revolver, give you guys a wide berth, so you guys now get in front of him, and he's following you with this gun.
Yeah.
He's gonna leave his chopper outside where he kind of stumbled upon you and walk past it. You guys are gonna walk past it. He's gonna follow like 10, 15 feet behind you guys, aiming the gun at you, and kind of come around to that ramp precipice, and then like lead you down it and go down it again, all the while following behind you. Anything to be done during that, or you guys just chill?
Just chilling, try not to get shot.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Weevil, why don't you give me I think it's just a general notice wisdom, and I'll give you a +2, considering like probably Sarah and Janko are hanging around.
Oh, sorry, I skipped right past the modifier. Let's go back to that. 9.
Okay. You're able to see Collie and Rhodey disappear into the amalgamous haze of desert whippings. And after a short while, approximately 5 minutes, you hear the roar of a chopper, similar to the one that is parked next to you. And a faint light cuts out about half a mile out from you, ahead of you guys, where Rhodey and Collie headed. And then it cuts off, and there is a long silence as you just hear wind whipping and
So essentially, you Weevil heard an engine that cut out, and then nothing more from the other two because they're too far away to identify.
yeah, the visibility is severely limited, and with a 9,
Okay,
that's what you see.
gotcha.
You mostly hear, and then you see the light, but it's hard to make out like individual humanoid figures, so you don't really see any of
Okay.
that after Collie and Rhodey disappear beyond the hazy veil.
Gotcha. So Rhodey he hears his radio bzz, and Weevil attempts to connect.
Attempting to reach Roadkill and Flower. How is your status?
We cut back to Weevil and Rhodey, who are walking down the ramp, and Rhodey, your radio at a low volume, albeit because I specified it goes off. You turned it down to be stealthy. You hear Weevil's voice comes over. I think not loud enough, or I think not quiet enough for this guy to not notice, though. As he kind of goes,
Wait, what the fuck was that? What did you just say?
Well, I do voices sometimes. when I get nervous, I do voices.
Are you whispering fucking secrets to each other? Don't make me regret trying to.
No, I'll tell you what I said.
What'd you say?
Would you want to hear it? I'll tell you. I said if I did a voice, I said, "Collie, I'm quite scared right now." That's what I said, and I said it like that because I do sometimes voices when I'm scared.
Do you think this is a fucking game? What is wrong with you, you old man?
Well, that's the stuff. I'm old.
Hey, that's not very nice, dude.
Hey, I wanna try and convince him of this. Doing a performance check, if that's okay.
sure, yeah, I think performance charisma would be great. Yeah, let me see here.
And then I'll also like to subtly turn off my radio, if I can do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that roll with the performance. You beat him on that, so he's like,
Just, if you got something to say loud enough for the whole class to hear, alright? I don't want to think you guys are plotting something and accidentally have to shoot one of you in the legs.
I'm nervous. If you wanted to know, I'm nervous right now.
But like, class, what are we learning? I didn't do my homework.
You
I've never done my homework.
know what pays to listen rather than talk sometimes if you really want to learn something. Alright? And
Oh, you got you on that one.
if you keep talking,
and he kind of like cocks the revolver a little bit, you know, he like pulls the hammer back, and he's like,
we can serve lunch a little bit early if you're, that eager to get out of class.
Oh, dude, I'm starving. What's for dinner? Lunch. I mean,
Ollie, I'm gonna ask that you do just do yourself a favor and stop talking.
like, all right.
You know what? I get it. You got a real curious mind and a real dumb, stupid brain.
as you guys are continually like clanking down this long ramp,
He goes, I appreciate it, old man, but it's very,
you can tell this man's getting frustrated.
it's very important to me that, Jimmy Buffett, alright? It's important to me that you know that the lunch is bullets. I'm gonna shoot you in the mouth, alright? Like.
Oh, I got that. I understood.
Your friend here is trying to save you, but it's important to me that you know if you shouldn't just stop talking, but why you should stop talking, because I'm gonna shoot you in the mouth. I need us to.
Yeah, personally, I don't want that.
I can't make threats and then just go unheard. What do I look like over here?
You look like a real strong, tough guy that I don't want to mess with.
What does he look like?
I'm flattered.
What's that?
What does he look like? Did you describe his character?
Yeah, so he looks like vaguely the same as the other guy that Rhodey encountered. He's wearing like desert garbs and tarps on tarps, lots of cloth over cloth, with a gas mask and the hood over the gas mask, lots of browns covered in sand and dust. I think you guys should have the art under if you go to like Saragon 2 NPCs. Oh, let me give you Fuelmaker Thug. There you go.
Yeah, and Rhodey did kill his friend,
which nobody knows
guys,
about. Well,
yeah, nobody knows except for our group. Yeah.
And the idle empty bike that's up by our car.
Yeah.
Right. Which I will have an explanation for if he asks.
Yeah. I mean, presumably he hasn't seen it. You guys are continue to walk down the roadway, the ramp, and we cut back to Weevil. As you attempt to reach out, you receive 0 response after a while.
Yeah. Is there a way that I can tell that the radio has been turned off,
No.
or do I just get stat? Okay.
No.
Yeah. So
I attempted to make contact, but I was unable to do so. I wonder if something may have befallen them. Is there any way that we may be able to get a better visibility, or will we have to descend the crater?
and I'm asking this of the party. I'm just like, is there, do we have like fucking thermal goggles or something? Because presumably the sandstorm is not getting any better, and it may also be a good idea to, at the very least, go down some distance.
It's only getting worse.
But yeah, as of right now, we have no idea what happened to these guys. We just know that there's no response on the
Right.
radio, and they kind of disappeared from visibility down there.
Honestly, I
Which
feel like
I'm so sorry about.
we shouldn't have even let them lose visibility for this long, because we can't even help them if we don't know they're in trouble, and we can't hear shit with this wind. So,
That is fair. This may not have been the most well thought out course of action.
Inky Bowie.
all right, kids, get out from behind the
Inky Bowie.
car.
Why? Where are we going? What are we doing?
We're gonna look for cover that's not car-shaped. In the hole.
Do you mean where the other guys were kidnapped? Or died or fell into and cracked their necks? Or
Or got
by
cannibalized?
sandworms? Or were cannibalized? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Or
go
burned
find out
alive
where
by
they died.
acid. It might be an acid crater. I don't want to go there.
Either way, we're not good backup if we just sit here and assume they're fine. I'm kind of sketched out. They've been gone for a minute. Also,
Serious?
people, you getting nothing on the radio? They're not responding or anything?
No, nothing. Didn't even get a first
Okay.
ping. And there's
No.
no, like, it's not like
That's
a com beacon,
suspicious
so
in
there's no way to
itself.
tell if a radio is active or turned off or whatever. It's just, it's
Yeah,
it's an
to be
Alright.
fair, yeah, we did not warn you guys at all.
Alright, Django's gonna move up, stealthing, just in case there is something to be worried about or people. And, gonna follow their footprints.
good idea, actually. Yeah, I will bring up the rear if that's okay, because Weevil is still heavily
hell
damaged.
yeah, dude.
But if Kits and
That dog in here.
Sarah are on board, which sounds like they kind of have to be because we're the player characters. Damn it, we are the heroes here.
Yeah.
I want to take the keys if we can. I know the
Yeah, easy
car
enough.
is hot wired, so
Oh yeah, you can't take the keys for the car. You turn it off. Every time you turn it back on, you have to re-hot wire it.
okay. Then what I would like to do is hide the keys inside the car.
The motorcycle keys inside the car.
Yeah, like inside like the glove box or something that they're well, the glove box is pretty obvious. Like in the sunglasses visor so that they're not
I mean, you
immediately
could-
visible. And
You said you could take. I mean, you could take the motorcycle keys with you if you want.
maybe it's meta, but I'm worried that, we're going into the den of the lions here.
Okay.
So
No, that's not meta at all. If you're worried about losing them because you're heading into a dangerous situation, that's one thing.
Yeah.
So if you want to store them somewhere near, that's fine too.
exactly. Yeah, I'm plopping them somewhere where they're not immediately visible. And presumably there's no keys in the car, so someone would need to hotwire it in order to get out of here.
Right.
So, yeah,
Okay, and you guys begin to all sneak up?
Yep.
Sure, Jenko leading the way. Why don't you give me a sneak dex check?
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, nice.
Solid. You rolled a 4 and a 6, dude.
We will resume with that result in just a second as we cut back to Rhodey and Kali as you are escorted to the bottom of this crater amongst what is very clearly the Fieldmaker's camp. These metal shacks stand a foot high apiece, large enough to house a couple of people. Very ramshackle lean-tos, mostly kind of 3 walls and an open side with tarps and blankets hanging before them for modicums of privacy. These gas masked figures in desert garb, some of which have removed their gas masks to eat and drink, begin to they seem to revel and party party and chat around these fireside bonfires they have going on throughout the camp. As this figure leads you through the camp at gunpoint, you catch a few eyes, people looking at you through the nodules of their gas masks, or rather just face to face. Why don't you guys both give me a I'm gonna say I think I need a know or heal check, and I'll take intelligence or wisdom for either of those.
No, or heal.
This is
For both of you guys. No, heal, intelligence, or wisdom for either. Great. You guys begin to walk through the camp as the fieldmaker leading you with the gun says,
Just, come on, just a bit further. Don't start any trouble now, and everything might be cool, alright?
and Rhodey, you clock as you're walking through this camp, as you lock eyes with a few of these sort of gang members, for lack of a better word at the time being. Some of them look sick. They look uneasy. With a 10, you're able to in blunt terms, they look sick. They look gaunt, malnourished, dehydrated, and like there's something else wrong with them as well.
Could I sort of, as Rhodey, put 2 and 2 together that they're suffering from radiation sickness, or would I need to make a check for Rhodey to possibly be able to determine whether or not that's the case?
I'm gonna say your prerogative. I'm gonna say I'm like being pretty fucking clear to not give you too much in this campaign. So if I say something and you go, well, that sounds like radiation sickness, then your character can very much think that's radiation sickness. There's
Okay.
not as much meta knowledge in D&D as there is in this game. It's like if you come to that conclusion, your character can, unless you decide he can't and you want to willfully ignore it. But that's up to you. Ultimately, I'm fine with either.
I think. Yeah, Rhodey has seen like the guys talk about how they feel, seen maybe some of the effects there. I think probably it would make sense that he could put it together that it's radiation sickness. So, okay.
Yep. And sorry, I'm just pouring myself a cup of tea. As this figure leads you towards the massive butt end of the ship that's jutting out of the ground, towards the other end of the camp, through the camp, you see a large tent flap in this larger house-like structure, this main domicile, this centerpiece of the crater. This tent flaps open as this angry kind of fuel maker kind of comes stumbling out, just like chip on his shoulder, kind of pissed off, short brown hair, rugged beard, and the fuel maker behind you goes,
Hey, Gruff, get back in there. Get rage for me. I got a couple of off-worlders.
and Gruff kind of storms right past him and goes, Get him your damn self. And the figure behind you goes,
Shit. I can't really leave you two here. Hey, Nickelback, if I give you this gun, will you watch your friend here? No, what am I saying? Hey, Rage. I need you out here.
I mean, you can give me the gun and I will watch him. I was gonna do it anyway, but if you want to give me a gun too, I will take it.
No, I can't, Rage. Please. No, I can't trust you with the gun. Rage.
and after a moment,
You can trust me, I'm a nice guy.
I don't trust you as hard as I can throw you.
You probably can't throw me very far.
But how far can we throw him, dude?
I tried to write all this down. You guys gotta stop being so funny.
And this woman comes out of the tent, gas maskless, covered in black and white war paint, goggles hanging around her neck, black mohawk side shaved on her head, filled with knee pads with spikes and football pads with scrap metal screwed onto them. And she's like, "What the fuck are you calling my name for?" Oh. And she kind of goes wide-eyed for a split second. She goes, "What do we have here?" She begins to kind of close the gap between you guys, and
I caught these two sneaking around the outside of the crater. They're off-worlders, not from here. They didn't know what shit pile was. They thought it was a person.
Well, he did. I thought it was a place initially, but he said it was a person.
Oh, yeah, dude. The note was like signed shit pile.
It didn't say signed. It was a hype. I mean, it doesn't matter.
and she goes, "Why? What note? What are you talking about?" This woman, Rage, says.
So, like,
Well, there's a. Do you want to tell them? Do you want to tell them at the same time?
Yeah, let's do it at the same time. 3,
Absolutely
2,
not.
right.
One at a time. She goes, "I will have knee pad here shoot one of you, so only one of you can talk, if that be the case."
I think it'll come off as more convincing if we both say it at the same time.
Absolutely not. Knee
All
pad,
right,
if they
Colin,
start, if they both
why
start
don't you go
talking.
ahead?
Alright, so back at the street that we crash landed.
Okay, Rick Sanchez.
we came back to it after exploring our downed main ship, and some of the electronics were missing, and there was a note.
And the note said,
It was signed shit pile, and it gave some coordinates and said, if you're from the other worlds, then what did it say? We'll help
Did
you.
not say that.
Okay, I get the gist of it. You put out a beacon, they showed up, you weren't there for some reason. You mentioned your downed ship. You crash landed on a big ship and you went to revisit the wreckage. Oh, that's awfully brave of you, considering.
Well, yeah, we wanted to know if anyone was alive,
Yeah.
and if we could get any food or,
Yeah.
you know.
She kind of narrows her eyes at you and she says, "And was there anybody alive on the ship, or was it totally deserted?"
No, everybody was dead, and there was nobody there. So nobody was there, and there was nobody dead, actually.
Dylan 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I got an explanation.
No, see, there were people
Yeah.
alive on the ship because we were alive on the ship, you know?
No, I'm talking
I guess
about.
that's a good point.
Alright.
I mean, when we went, there was nobody there that was alive. The
Except
people
for,
that were there, they were dead.
except for us.
There was no. Well, yeah, she knows that because that's how we got there, by walking and being alive.
She is pinching the brow of her nose so hard, smearing the war paint on her face a little bit. It's turning red. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god."
See, now here's the thing. In the crash, Collie here, he smashed his head and all the stupid. He filled his brain and all the smarts right out of his ear. So he said some stuff sometimes that don't make any sense, like the fact that having to clarify that we were alive, which we were.
Well, she asked, man. She said, was there anyone alive on, the ship? And so we were.
The reason I ask is because we had a man, Cletus was his name, insisted on going in and seeing a rather large plume of smoke he thought might have been some sort of ship wreckage. We all thought he was daft because nobody saw a ship fell from the sky. You're telling me one did. Our man Cletus was evidently right. He hasn't come back.
Well,
You didn't see any
We
sign of
must have
anybody
just
that...
missed him. Nope, we must have just missed him.
She looks at Collie and she goes, you want to take a quick spin around real quick? Look at all the people around you. He looked like that.
So he'd be wearing one of these, and Kali points to like his face, signaling your face.
Well, there was nobody else, Collie, except the people that we were. So there was nobody else. It was just us, the group that went to go see us two, and that's it.
do you think he could?
Other than me,
Yeah.
other than me, Collie didn't see anybody. Other than
Yeah.
Collie, me didn't see anybody.
Ollie looks at Rhodey and says, "Do you think we could have been with those weird red four-legged creatures that we killed on the mountain?"
I'm gonna go ahead and guess probably not.
Then no, man.
Oh my god. You know, you two just seem dumb enough to manipulate, if I'm being honest. I feel comfortable telling you that because you just seem that dumb. I'm assuming you'll probably forget that I said it in about 15 seconds anyway, so...
Ollie left
Who are you? I'm just kidding. Adoy.
Alright, here's the deal. You two are stranded here on a planet. You have no means of transportation, apparently. You two seem to be the only two among your group. And, you know, we could kill you, or we could send you back out into the wastes, and you would die anyway. So, I'll propose a tertiary agreement, and why don't you join our little group here, right? We're called the Fuel Makers. We have means of transportation around the desert. We have food, we have water, we have ways of producing that which we need, and getting whatever we don't have means of producing ourselves. Does that sound agreeable? I mean, would you like to die in the desert? Would you like us to kill you, or do you want us to join you? I'm open to suggestions if you have any other options that were for something I could do with you.
Well, we don't-
No, I think that's I like the idea that we can join and you not kill us will be good.
Like I said, I'm okay with honestly letting you back out into the ways. You guys seem very stupid and harmless, but you will die out there. There's no way around it. So, if you're
No,
down.
we would certainly appreciate all the help that we could get, seeing as we crash landed here and just want to find a way off planet. Is there maybe some way that you could point us in the direction of a way to get off world, maybe?
Oh, okay. See, that's a bit of a problem. If you want to get off world, you can't. That's not gonna fly. Quite literally, nothing's gonna fly off world.
Well, why?
Well, first of all, we don't deal in that mumbo jumbo flying technology. All right, we don't. Do you see the surroundings around you? Take a quick look. And you see, coal-fueled campfires, wood-fueled campfires, combustion engine motorcycles, and Mad Max-style cars to a degree. Aside from the butt end of this spaceship, you don't see a whole lot of high-tech stuff, just scrap remnants of it. The best thing you see is to the left of the butt end of this spaceship is what appears to be a starfighter that seats one person with a sort of cargo carrying bay beneath it to carry presumably some sort of cargo.
Right.
That is like run halfway into the sand and decrepit. Looks like it's just kind of been here for a while. It's been slowly weather-eaten over the years. Albeit not totally unsalvageable, but it's be left to rot, and you look around at these people, and it's very clear that they do not have the means, the know-how, or the want to even try and like restore it.
Right.
And she goes, so we don't deal in that. And when you're a fuel maker, you're a fuel maker for life, all right? So there's no let us, you can't join and then just fuck off. Now,
Okay.
You said you were down
I
to
do
join, so why
understand.
don't we get you? Why don't we get you two boys branded? And
Where does the brand go?
wherever you want on your torso.
You mean brandy, like the booze?
No, branded with like a hot iron.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've done worse. Fuck it. And Rhodey will unbutton his shirt. I mean, he's covered in like tattoos, scars, fucking burns, all that shit from like life on the road and from his like hardcore metal career and stuff. So he fucking hates himself so much he doesn't give a shit. He'll do it. He'll take the brand. But he's looking at Kali like, hey, maybe you don't want to do this.
Yeah, I'm not really into like self-mutilation. I don't really wanna.
She looks past you guys, like between you two, and she goes, Neatfat, why don't you go get the brand ready? Start heating it up. And she looks back towards Kali and she goes, well, then you're not going to be a fuel maker.
Would it be okay if I just had a quick conversation with my associate before this ceremony?
Sure.
Okay. Come on, Kali, come with me for a second.
No.
And I'm going to try and oh.
Right here.
Oh.
And she's been standing like 15 feet away, and the guy behind you with the gun, he's walked away at this point. So you guys can like huddle and whisper, but she doesn't want you to like walk around the camp because she doesn't fully trust you guys yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Would I be able to whisper to Kali something, like without anybody hearing? Okay.
Well, she's very much like, if you guys want to just like stand here and huddle together and whisper to each other, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll be 15 feet away and I won't be able to hear you. But like, it just sounded like you were gonna like usher him away somewhere, and it's like she's not gonna let you like leave.
Enough so that I could have a private conversation.
Yeah, you guys can put your arm around him and no problem.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna say. Look, I've been burned and tattooed and all that dumb bullshit so many times it doesn't even bother me. So I will get the brand. I'm gonna, work my way in, become a fuel maker. Not gonna tell them about that guy on the ship, and maybe I can find a way to help us, the whole group, from inside. You go back to the group, tell them what's what, and I'll find a way to break away and maybe make some fuel. I don't really know where this is gonna go quite yet.
Man, I respect your ability to get like burned, but how am I gonna like sneak away or something? This
Well, she said that you could just leave. She said that you can just leave if you want. She thinks that you're gonna die out there, which, maybe we all might. You never know what happens or what God has in store and what have you. But I think you go out to the group, and I'll be a fuel maker and get the brand, and then I'll break away. And maybe I can find a way from the inside of this to help us. That, or we just give up on this and leave. Both of us.
I mean, that's up to you, man. I'm totally gonzo. Like bing bong diddly dong, I'm out. You can stay, I guess, but I think you should just come back to the group. These people seem to have enemies on the planet. I don't know if I want to make any more enemies, and they're kind of cool with us just being around. The whole not being able to leave thing with big old air quotes, that kind of sounds like it sucks. I don't want to live here. I got things to do.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm not planning on staying here. It's just a means to an end, Kali. It's a way to get what we need for the time being.
Means to an end, but I don't really like being mean.
Kali is just the regular brand of stupid.
Yeah. Golly, I was saying that as a joke about you hitting your head and all the smarts fell out, but I think maybe that happened.
He actually didn't say that Kali has long hair, and when he sweeps it aside, it's like a big divot in his head.
Yeah.
Like had like the infant fontanelle was just pressed in.
I think maybe your brain is flooded with stupid. I think there's something going on in there. No, but okay, for real though, what do you think? I'm telling you, I'll stay with the fuel makers or I'll go back with you. Obviously, you're not going to be a fuel maker. What do you think is the right move? I'm asking for your opinion because I will take that into consideration.
Yeah. I mean, I guess learning all their secrets and everything can't really hurt, right?
Right, it's more dangerous, but yeah,
maybe you can get one of those fucking gnarly gas masks.
that would be cool. All right, then
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna join the fuel makers, and if need be, well, I guess I'll have to break away at some point. Go tell the group, and I'll find you. We're just gonna have to communicate via radio and be real careful.
As long as we're within 2 miles of each other.
You got your radio on you?
Yeah, don't go too far.
Make sure we're on. Remember, stay on channel 69.
Flips
Oh,
down
funny,
his
I thought it was
sunglasses.
channel 420. All right, well, I think we know what we're doing, right?
Well, yeah.
We briefly cut back to Janko, Weevil, and the crew, and you guys are lying prone on the edge of the crater, and you guys are essentially able to watch this scene from a distance as you see Rhodey and Kali now in a huddle with people surrounding, or not people surrounding them, but a woman kind of looking at them silhouetted, and people silhouetted and kind of dotting around the camp as this one figure comes striding up with something long and
Hard
yeah.
and hot.
And gay.
Oh god, it's some kind of
Yes.
sex ritual.
Janko. People just looks
Fucking
at you and goes,
humans.
I do not understand any of these interactions. At what point are they expected to bend over?
yeah, and like Weevil is like flat on the ground, like we're watching this scene, I guess,
Yeah.
or maybe like
You see the
something
silhouette of Rhodey now unbuttoning his vest.
yeah, Janko, Weevil takes out his data slab, and you see 3 credits appear in your account, and he goes,
It seems that you were correct.
Should we do something, or should we just wait?
They
A
do
lot
not
of
seem
people
to be
down
in
there.
any amount of large distress, although I wonder if they would take kindly to learning that the group is this large. I would be hesitant to reveal ourselves right now. Perhaps we should see if there are any hostilities.
All right.
Yeah. Also, I feel like we've got a motorcycle that looks just like the ones they have. The odds of it not being theirs, you know, if they see our motorcycle when we leave, let's just be real careful if we're going to talk to them.
I think for now, my vote is we stay here, and keep an eye, and like if it looks like there's any signs of hostility, obviously we reconsider, but for now, they're just talking, you know, like they weren't.
Isn't Kali coming back?
Not yet. This was just
Okay.
kind of jutting around in time a little bit.
Yep. I say we stay put for now, and don't reveal ourselves unless we need to.
Let's say, yeah, if guns get drawn and shit pops off, we pop off right back, but...
Weevil,
until then, let's-
your background boop, 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 is coming, your Magellan signal is coming from what is very clearly the large boat end of the ship. On the other end of the crater, the large house-like structure.
Okay, so Weevil actually...
It doesn't look like the Magellan, for what it's worth.
Right, interesting.
Actually, I believe that I will be going on my own.
And he's going to start standing up.
I am here for a very specific reason, and the source of the signal that I have been searching for a number of months is in that crater. I believe that now, if we are going to attempt to if I am going to attempt to locate that signal, it is important that I do so while there is no hostilities. And I believe an open and direct route would be best on my end. However, I would not encourage the same for everyone, as a contingency is always advisable.
And yeah, with that, Weevil's like, I'm fucking going down there, guys. Do what you want, but like, I mean, you can argue against it, like whatever you want, but like, Weevil is gonna reveal himself at one point and head down into the crater.
Whoa, put that robot penis away.
I wish to join in on this sexual ritual.
Great.
No, that's not what they did, Weevil.
I feel like I'm gonna wait until I see Kali leaving before I go in.
We got back to Kali and Rhodey as knee pad comes back up with the brand hot and ready. It's that fuel maker symbol we showed before, which
Yeah,
I can now,
the Mad Max one.
I think I can now give you guys the fuel maker's logo. And the faction page rather. As he's like,
Alright, boss, it's all ready.
and Rage says, "All right. So what's your decision? Who's joining for life? Who's joining the toughest group of survivors this side of this dusty old fucking rock? And who's going out into the waste to die?"
I do have one question, and Rhodey is like now, his shirt is like essentially off. I'm willing
That
to
is
join.
unbuttoning his pants.
Yeah, unzipping.
All right. What's your question, Beer Gut?
Hold on, I'm in pretty decent shape. I just want to make sure that if my friend Kali over here does not want to join, there's no ill will.
No, we're not going to shoot him or anything like that.
Okay. Well, that's good then. I mean, I think it'd be fun to join. I think that'd be a good time to do for, and Rhodey will step forward, ready to accept the brand of the fuel makers.
Does your friend... Do you not want to join? And she turns to Kali. Would you like to leave at this point?
Like, yeah, I think so. It's really flattering, and I appreciate the offer, but like, I'm not really into commitment these days. I'm kind of in like a non-monogamous thing.
Hey.
Well, now, hold on. If you just walk out, you might die. See, I don't want my friend to die.
Well, he's definitely going to die if he walks out into the... That's the point, but it's join or leave.
Is there no middle ground where we're all just friends?
Where he gets to stay here for free and just eat our food and drink our water and partake in our resources.
I'm sure we can find some way to make,
Yeah, I can like do chores, or, like wash the dishes or something.
No, okay.
Like your chore
I should-
boy, man. I saw it on an anime.
Knee pads.
I'll make something very clear. And she looks at you, Rhodey. She goes, "Old man, you're gonna have to do chores. Initiation is not a brand and you're done. You have to earn your keep. The brand is the bare minimum." She looks at Kali, and if you, Sunglasses, aren't willing to do that, I don't know what to tell you. Chores are mandatory, but the brand is the first step.
Like I don't know. Give me a bit to think about it, and Kali's gonna start like making his way out.
She just turns around and walks away.
You go to leave. She goes. Yeah, you have until he's done. Otherwise, and she extends her hand as if to like offer a handshake. Otherwise, it's farewell.
Well, how long is his initiation gonna take?
About 60 seconds. Kneecap, do him.
Yes, ma'am.
She goes, "Oh," and he's like,
Hold still.
All right,
And,
I got a portrait on this side, so just be real careful. I don't want to mess it up. That tattoo costs a lot of money. And
You got it.
And he will respectfully brand you wherever you want on your upper body.
cool. All right. Well, so I have like a bunch of tattoos all over. I have a portrait on my right side. I have like a little bit of empty space on the left, so I'll let him brand the left side, and I'll just accept it because I'm a bad motherfucker. And this is the kind of shit I do.
Yeah, so it's about the size of like a silver dollar, or like a sand dollar rather.
Oh, okay.
It's
Smaller than I thought.
Well, sand dollars are kind of big.
It's like
They're
about
like
4 inches wide in diameter.
yeah, something like that, like 3 to 4 inches
Oh, okay.
wide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe I was
so-
imagining something else.
Yeah, silver dollar is probably what you were thinking of, which is what I first said, which is like, whoops. No, sand dollars are those like big shell things on the beach.
The size of a dinner plate.
Yeah. No, not that big. More like the size of a small appetizer plate. And but it's pretty big. All things considered. But yeah, he brands you with this thing. It's hot. It hurts. But it's a clean brand. It doesn't override any of your other tattoos you wanted. You know, he's not here to fuck your life up. You're a new initiate, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah, he's being respectful.
yeah, so he begins to brand you. You see Rhodey, Kali, you see Rhodey kind of just, in pain a little bit, grunting. But as you kind of get distracted and you're looking over at your friend being branded and,
Now hold still, don't move, old man, don't move.
Rage kind of snaps her fingers and her hand's still out. She goes, so what's it gonna be? Huh? Gonna walk out into the night and fare for yourself? Or, are you willing to do what it takes to, step up?
Kali will look at the. Yeah, Kali will look at the fuel makers and look outside and think of like Weevil and all of them, and then look at Rhodey and be like, I can't like, damn it, man, I can't like leave Rhodey alone. What if something happens?
Hey, it's all right. You don't want none of this.
Do you say that out loud?
No.
Okay,
It's just like,
okay.
It's like
Cool.
Cool. Dialogue. So I think Kali will step up back next to Rhodey and lift up, I guess, like the right side of his shirt, and like kind of be like, "All right, man, like do it. Just make it quick. Can it, like be a light one or something."
Just a gentle kiss, man.
They come in one temperature, son. But hey, and she goes to lower her hand. Kali, give me a notice wisdom check.
Yeah.
I also have a question for you. What's Weevil's distance? Because I would figure by now he should have arrived.
Yeah, we're bending time just a little bit, but he's about to. Yeah.
He is
He's so
coming.
funny if he like walks in with while Kylie's about to get it.
Yeah, unfortunately, okay. Weevil, you
Frylock.
see she lowers her hand very slowly back down to her side from
Down,
the
sir.
handshake position. And she's got this kind of like sly smirk on her face as she's like,
But
you're made of stern stuff, kid. I didn't think you had it in you. And you feel like there's something more to that statement, but you don't know what it is.
I'm made of stern stuff.
you want to suck you?
As knee pads, he pulls the iron back from Rhodey.
You're all done. It looks fucking beautiful. You're one of us now.
Good job. I
Rhodey,
appreciate the delicacy with which you branded.
Rhodey, was it? I'm Napads. Nice to meet you, brother.
And he like goes to extend his hand out in a very like manly handshake.
Nice to meet you, knee pads. And I will shake his hand, but before I do, I'm going to disengage the telekinetic armor, which I should have mentioned, because I don't want him to feel it.
Yeah.
The brand tinks off of it, and he's like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
You guys got a skin of
Yeah, I
iron."
should have mentioned that prior to the brand, where he's like trying to do it, and it's like, I don't know what's going on. It's not going through.
Yeah, I'm assuming if this
Bones
is
are close to the skin
you
there.
disengaged.
Yeah, I would have dropped it so that he could. Yeah.
Yeah, and he grabs you like by the wrist in that very cowboy handshake and shakes your hand. And he's like,
I'm just gonna dip this back in the fire real quick, and then we'll get to you, all right? For the Hawaiian shirt.
Like, like, sure, dude. I guess so.
as he walks off, you guys hear like a approaching from the distance.
Hey, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? Hey, somebody get over here. Hey, you can't get...
Weevil, as you come clomping down the stairs, guns are being like pulled out on you, and everybody's kind of like they're wanting to keep their distance. They're afraid, they're confused, and you have like half a dozen pistols and shotguns and like carbine rifles, like all combustion kind of gunpowder, loaded weapons, kind of leveled at you as these people are like ducking in their tents, and they're just like, what the fuck? One guy has like a revolver, and he kind of stands back, and everybody's panicking a little bit as they as you're just like kind of stomping into town.
I apologize for the intrusion. It seems that I am causing more alarm than intended.
And he raises both hands. But his little face doesn't change at all. I imagine his face doesn't actually open when he's talking. So it's like literally just a little LED display. And like his voice plays through speakers in his body. So he's looking around, or like his head is rotating, but he's not actually moving his body. And he's not looking. It's literally just a little swiveling display left to right, like he's looking around. And he raises his hands and he said this.
Again, I apologize for the intrusion. However, I have come to request assistance.
There's a silence after that gap as Rhodey and Kali, you guys are able to see Weevil. He's about 100 feet away from you towards the entrance. Rage is looking past you guys, and she mumbles just loud enough for you guys to hear. She's like, what the fuck? And Kneecaps is just like, kind of glaring through his gas mask, just like in awe as this thing is getting way too hot in the fire, this brand he's holding in the fire. And you guys hear as Weevil's like, I'm just here for some assistance. You guys hear some heavy metal boots, ka-chunk, ka-chunk, on sand coming out of one of the tents as this shirtless figure wearing a backpack of sort of bullets with a belt feed coming from it, holding a Gatling gun, comes ka-chunk, ka-chunk, kind of coming clumsily walking out of this tent, this metallic kind of structure, one of these houses. You got some fucking balls on you, you big hunk of tin, waltzing in here looking for help. I don't know you from Adam, and you don't look right to me. So why don't you go ahead and justify your existence to me before I make it null and void right here? Your warranty's about to be up, boy.
Yeah, Weevil's face turns into the O gesture, like, and he's still got his hands up, and like his head pops up a little bit higher, like a fucking Rock'em Sock'em robot in surprise.
Oh, again, I cannot stress enough how sorry I am to be of disturbance. However, I believe I may have something that could be useful. I noticed that some of your men seem to be suffering from some form of radiation sickness. I am a medbot, and I would be willing to discuss my terms in terms of bargaining, perhaps, if you are willing to hear me out. However, I am unable to speak if I have been filled with bullet holes. I am not attempting anything violent or dangerous. If it is of concern, I will turn around and walk away.
Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna shoot everything but the mouth off of you, boy. You'll be able to talk just fine after I'm done with you. And you see kind of like the kind of Gatling gun begins to rev up a little bit, but then Kali and Rhodey, you guys hear a couple of footprints as Rage begins to take a couple of very large commanding strides right through you guys, like right between you guys. She's like, that's enough bullets. Back down. Bad boy. Bad.
Get to the spray bottle.
Yeah. And there's a bit of tension between the two. There's a very angry glare between them as she strides closer, and he kind of spins around, taking his full attention off Weevil, almost aiming the gun at Rage. And the three of you who are in the camp are very easily, there's something going on here. There's power dynamics at play, to say the least. As he kind of shrugs and begins to walk back towards the tent, and he goes, the second I hear a fucking speck of dust in the wrong spot, blowing the wrong direction, I'm coming for you. Bucket of bolts. And he begins to trudge off.
I think this happens after he's turned his back, but Weevil's face turns to the it just turns to the scrolling message, I'm so sorry. It's like one of those like grocery store open signs, just scrolls past.
Yeah. And Rage is now addressing Weevil as she has ignored Kali and Rhodey at this point. And she looks at Weevil and she's like, you said you're a med bot? And you're here to help us for what reason? You just showed up?
No, allow me to provide an order of events. I apologize. I was panicked. His hands are still up at a 90-degree angle. I apologize because I was panicked when being presented with a rotating weapon. However, I was on a ship that crash-landed, and I followed the smoke trail here in an attempt to seek assistance for my current plight. I was also following a signal that I was able to hone in on, and I noticed on the way down that some of your men appear to be ill. That is the order of operations there. I did not come solely to provide medical assistance. However, I would be more than happy to do so if we are able to come to an arrangement. I have no ulterior motives, I promise you. Everything is on the surface.
She kind of levels her gaze at you for a moment, kind of sizing you up. She goes, be honest with me, bot. Are you armed right now?
I mean, so we previously said that Weevil's laser is inside his finger.
She wouldn't be able to visibly see it, which is why she's asking.
Okay.
I have no weapons in my arsenal or on my person as of right now.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I have a weapon in my person in the form of a laser pistol embedded in this finger. However, I am not going to use it.
Very good. And she turns around and she begins to walk back towards Rhodey and Kali. And she's going to stand right between Rhodey and Kali at this point. And she looks over at Rhodey. Kind of gives you a little bit of a smile. And she draws a pistol and levels it at Kali's head.
Whoa.
Oh, like, whoa.
Oh my god, dude, the fucking way wow. Oh man, okay. I would suggest against that. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, like.
Why are we getting upset? What did he do? He was just standing there without a thought in his mind.
I am calm as the desert during the day.
Pretty hot, actually.
But it's calm. And I'm pretty hot.
Okay. Yeah, you're actually pretty hot. I don't know what you're doing later, but...
She goes, I just
Oh,
want to
yeah, you got a gun. Hold on.
Yeah, I just want to see something is all. And she pulls the hammer back on the revolver at this point. Kali, you hear this metallic click right next to your skull, basically. And she's just staring at Weevil.
Weevil is... Okay, so I want to roll to see what Weevil would do in this situation. Because he sees one of his friends is in danger, but he's also not super cued in on human nuance.
Oh, I'm sorry, finish.
Yeah, I'm watching both of them. So like my eyes are alternating between them.
You can see all three of them easily, for sure.
Yeah, cool. So if Rhodey wants to do anything, he's with an eye shot, I guess.
I do have something I want to try if you don't have like a response immediately.
I'm gonna say I give it like a 5-second beat before I do anything.
Okay.
Because Weevil is not making any sudden moves. He knows, presumably there's 5 or 6 people around him still with guns at the ready, because like he had like the fucking Robin Hood scene, everyone draws their sword on him at once when he wanders into camp, and so any sudden moves are not good for any of us right now. So yeah, he's paused for a brief moment. And he'll talk.
Okay, here's what I want to do. So I had my shield up from before. I kept it up. So I had in this scene nothing committed. Right. So I have 2 left.
No.
I want to use 1. So then I only have 1 left.
Yeah, because this is the same scene as the introduction to the fuel makers. This is that same scene. So you brought it down
Same
for
scene
the branded.
as when I met the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
So this would be your last one. If you want to bring it back up.
Yeah, I have 2 ideas that are both really solid, but I don't want to. I mean, even if I bring it up, we're like surrounded by people. Right?
I think you should let Weevil go, if I'm being honest. On a meta level, and like a story level.
I'm not gonna do anything crazy. Okay, if she's gonna pull the trigger, if there's something that's gonna happen, Rhodey has a response. He's focusing on something. I just want to be able to try that before that happens. Buddy, shut the fuck up.
Dinky boy.
Damn. Dinky boy. Nice, sweet baby.
Yeah. So after.
Yeah. So there's a silence. There's a beat of a silence, and she kind of just looks around to everybody in the group. She looks over at Collie. She looks at Rhodey. She looks back at Weevil. She goes, "Sorry, I'm just tying up some other business. I decided we don't need this many new recruits."
I do not understand why you are threatening that man. Has he done something wrong?
You tell me.
Like, bro,
I've only just arrived.
please tell me there are no more bullets in that gun. I don't really want to play this game anymore.
She levels the gun up a few degrees, fires off around into the sky.
Holly turns white.
And then she begins to lower it back down.
At my head?
Yeah, back towards your head. She shoots one off into the air to prove there's bullets, and then is going to lower it back down.
So, like, what happened to me, like, joining the family and all that, huh? What's going on?
Hey, bud. Do me a favor. Shut the fuck up for a moment.
Holly shuts up.
She looks back at the robot. Are you upset that I'm going to paint this man's skull all over the desert floor?
It is in my programming to care for the preservation and health of sentient life. So, therefore, I would be upset as much as I could manage.
What if I were to tell you this man's barely sentient?
Then I would be...
I really appreciate that.
Sorry, Weevil's not laughing at Carrot. That's just...
Yeah, I got you, fucker.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, you did. Fucking giggles over here. I had something in mind I wanted to say. I gotta get it back.
If this man were barely sentient, then I would be marginally less upset than if he were otherwise.
So you're telling me when I blow his brains out in about 15 seconds, you'll still want to help me and my friends?
Well, that is not necessarily true. I would not necessarily want to assist in the aid of someone who is committing wanton acts of violence. I am not sure what this man has done to warrant the justification of having a revolver leveled at his skull. That is, in my own understanding, very dangerous and potentially hazardous to the continuation of human life. I would be very upset if anyone of...
And Weevil makes kind of a big show of his head turning and kind of like looking over at Collie, looking down, looking up, looking over at Rage, looking down, looking up.
Based on your manner of dress, it seems that you are unaffiliated, but I would still feel upset, or I would not be very happy if one of your own men was sick or injured from whatever may ail them right now. As I said, I am programmed to appreciate the preservation and continuation of sentient and human life.
She glares at you for a really long time.
He is not. He is impassive. His little face is like smile, arms still at 90 degrees. He is like a statue. He's not moving at all.
She goes, okay. What's your diagnosis on this man? Is he healthy? The one I'm about to, for now, before I blow his brains out, is he healthy right now?
Healthy as Knox, ma'am.
I know
May I
you think
attempt
so.
to? May I attempt to take out my bioscanner, or would a cursory examination from this distance suffice?
Do as deep as a scan as you need to. No one's going to blow you away for reaching for your pockets.
Okay, very slowly, one arm rotates perfectly 90 degrees, and from behind his back pulls out the bioscanner, which I want to see exactly what this says. I'm also, let's see. While an untrained user can use this tool to discern blah, 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 it requires heal 0. Such operators can use the, okay. One type power A cell will power it up for 24 hours of regular usage, of which this is, I guess, negligible for this one instance. So Weevil is going to close the distance a little bit with the other arm still raised in a 90-degree gesture and the bio tool kind of held out to the side so as not to aim like a pistol at anyone. And specifically the hand that he told her the gun is in, which is his left one, which is correct, is the one raised like a 90-degree, So he's not aiming a finger under the bio tool at her. And he's going to walk up to within like 7-8 feet of Kali. And then, this beam emits from the bio tool, scans him up, scans him down. I'm just going to roll a heal check to see what the results are.
I don't think you need to roll. I think you can just tell. I think this is more of a... It requires a skill set to use, but it's more of like a... It's a device that you can... You're reading an X-ray, and you have the knowledge with heal 1 to read the X-ray.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
So, you
can get his... you can get, like, his blood type, any distress, toxins running from his body, blood pressure, an X-ray, an MRI level of data, DNA sequencing to a degree. Like, you get, like, a full medical diagnostic scan of him.
Yeah.
It would appear that upon a cursory examination, he is in fairly good health with highly elevated levels of stress.
I wonder why. What's his blood type?
Z. No.
F.
AB positive.
Oh, very good.
Making something up, but it's accurate, whatever he says.
What's his blood pressure?
Higher than normal. It is at...
I was going to say PSI. I don't know. Weevil says the actual number.
His cholesterol levels?
Below average. It seems that he is subsisted mostly on different forms of grass.
Does he have any broken bones at the current moment?
Does he?
No.
Oh, not at the current moment.
What's his name?
Do I get that from the bio tool?
No, you don't.
There is no readout for name on this indicator.
She looks at you really fucking hard.
What the hell?
Jesus Christ!
Do you fucking say that? She looks at...
Wait, what did he say?
No, I'm going with it. She looks at Kali and she goes... And she lowers the pistol.
Wait,
and she goes...
what did he say?
He goes, you don't know my name? What the hell?
Yeah, but he blurted it out. Fucking...
She lowers the pistol and she goes, that's all I needed. You know, I'd really appreciate it if you boys were fucking honest with me for 2 minutes.
Kali drops to his knees.
I had a feeling this is gonna happen.
She goes, get back up, your brand's ready. She goes, knee pads, do him. She looks at Weevil
I mean, honestly, Connor, you deserve this. I mean, I hope it hurts. I'll look at knee pads. I'll say it quietly. Do it messy. Do it real messy. Make it ugly.
Don't have to tell me twice.
She looks
not my boyish skin.
She looks at Weevil and she says, You I don't appreciate how you came in here lying to me. I don't appreciate how you You thought you could, and at this point she's like beating into pace a little bit. She's like, I don't appreciate how you thought you could get one over on the fuel makers, let alone me, of all people. You're lucky your friend here has a big mouth.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Very good, ma'am.
She goes, you did very good, boy.
Holly kisses her feet.
Yeah, there's a... she kind of likes it.
Hey, get away from there. Those are mine.
She looks over at Weevil and she goes, I don't know what to do with you, but I know who's going to. And she pulls out her radio and she begins to say something into it. She very quietly begins to whisper. And you get kind of the words. She's like, boss, I got a guy coming towards it. And she's like very quietly trying to whisper, but she's close enough that you're able to tell. She essentially says, I have a guy coming your way, a bot I'm sending in. He's a liar and trouble. He's got 2 friends, crash ship. Related to Cletus gone missing. Blah, blah, blah. And she gives the details of the situation. And she goes, and she kind of lowers the radio. There's no response. There's just there's a slight pause and then from her end as if somebody just broadcasts like a little bit of static as an acknowledgement. She looks at you and she goes, what's up?
I want to roll to see if Weevil can determine if that was like he has. I basically want to find a way that I can determine if she's actually talking to someone or bluffing. And the ways I can think of doing it are either. I mean, obviously, we don't get a.
She's talking to someone.
Messages.
She's talking to someone.
Gotcha.
In the sense of she holds the radio button down. She starts talking into it.
Okay, yeah.
And then she pauses for a moment as if to listen back, and there is an audible something clicks on as if and instead of like understood coming through, there's a that comes through. Like it's a clear distinction of like just general radio static from, It's like an intercom suddenly coming on for a second. You hear the hum, and then it clicks off.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And she looks over at Weevil, and she says, why don't you go through the big draperies over there. The big boss will see you.
Boy, howdy. Yeah, Weevil, he has not moved. He still has the extended bioscanner in one hand and the left hand vertical.
For what it is worth, I apologize for the dishonesty. That is not normally within my programming, but I felt that the situation demanded some measure of caution. I will comply, though.
There's about to be a boot in your ass, and I bet that's not in your programming either.
That statement would be correct.
And, fuck, if she says go inside, A, I'm about to accomplish a long-term goal, and B, I may die before I get to see it through to the end. So, Weevil pockets, like he, left arm still up, right arm puts the bioscanner behind his back, right arm comes back up, back in the 90-degree hands up pose. And yeah, he'll proceed up the ramp and go through this is into the ship, right? Like through a drape that's been strewn
where the
across
signal's coming from, the big house object. Yeah.
Cool.
So you start heading toward this big kind of quarter of a frigate class ship, propped up by struts and scaffolding to make a sort of housing structure out of, with giant tarps over it to make a door. You're able to part the doors and head inside. We cut back to Janko, Kits, and Sarah up on the hill. All of you, Kits less so, tactfully aimed at the people down in the camp, shifting your aim around to who seems to be the biggest threat, from probably bullets at one point to rage and back and forth, as Sarah's like, what the fuck are we doing up here, little guy? Should we just start shooting or what? Because I don't like the looks of this one fucking bit. I'm pretty sure they marked him with some sort of big hot iron.
Yeah, it looks like if you're down there, we're getting marked too.
I don't see Weevil's heading inside that big. We don't have eyes on the bot anymore.
I think he'll. I trust his temperament. I think he'll be able to take care of himself. But
You sure? Because he got bit by a fish and almost fucking died.
how many people?
But I
are
am
in
a
this-
level higher
this
now.
camp? How many people is this?
Easily 2 dozen.
2 dozen. Yeah. Well, it's not. This is not a place you go in to fight at all. This is a place you go into, get slapped up and say thank you.
No, but this isn't a case of can we kill them all and then take their stuff. This is a case of if they're in mortal danger and we start shooting, they may or may not realize that we're with them, and we might give them the cover they need to get the fuck out of there. We have high ground and cover. We can retreat. We have the cars back here. If we just distract them enough, then maybe our friends can get out of there. But this isn't a let's kill them all situation. You're 100% right. The numbers are not in our favor.
All right.
But things are not looking great.
Django's too small to drive the car, right?
No, Django can drive the car.
He can drive it. Okay.
Yeah, and the cycle.
I feel like if we're going in there,
We wouldn't go in. Why would we?
Oh no, I know, but like we would want to probably bring the car closer so we can get a faster getaway.
Fair.
That's what I'm thinking right now. The car's like half a mile away from us right now.
Something like that. Maybe Kit should do that, since he can't aim a gun worth a damn.
I mean, is he gonna be able to not get lost on his way back?
I think Kit's can walk in a straight line. The boy's dumb, but he ain't that dumb.
All right, I say we get the car, we get it as close as we can, and I guess we're gonna try to create some kind of diversion, and then.
Fuck.
I mean, not just yet.
Janko, you're gonna have to hotwire the car again, though.
Oh, fuck. I guess I'll do it. Motorcycle's too loud too, so we're not gonna touch that yet. I guess kids would have to stay behind on the motorcycle.
Okay. She was about to be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second, and pull you away from Kits to say that, but you just said it in front of him, and Kits was like, what?
I mean, we can't all fit in the car. That's the thing.
Yeah, but why am I getting left behind? What the fuck?
Do you want to be part of a potential gunfight?
No, but if you guys are all running away and driving away in a car and I'm on a motorcycle left behind, I'm gonna be the one who gets got. It's slower. I don't know how to drive one of these things.
All right.
Why don't you leave the robot? He can get buried in sand overnight. Who cares? He's not a real person.
He doesn't even have real emotions. I bet he's never felt pain in his life.
Yeah.
He's never known the sweet caress of a woman or the sun kissing his cheeks on a hot summer day.
Neither have I.
Neither will I, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Whatever
can if I
we
want
do,
to.
We gotta wait until Weevil is, out of the tent, hopefully, because he'll see it coming. I don't want him to be in there not understanding what we're doing.
Okay.
And I will go hotwire the car. I'll drive it up real slow, lights off. I'll park it behind the nearest dune. And I guess keep your eyes on Rhodey and Collie.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I guess we'll just wait until Weevil does what he's doing in the tent, and if he comes out, then we can. Do we have any loud noises we can make besides, shooting a fucking gun? Like, do we have any, we found some grenades, right?
You could
I
rip
think
some
Rhodey had them all,
pads.
but I don't know where they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fucking fat smart coming really inside.
Yeah, Rhodey has all of the grenades, I think. Yeah. Sarah. She doesn't. She just has laser guns and a knife. Kits doesn't really have anything.
Throw a knife loudly.
Yeah. We could maybe knock one of these rocks on the edge loose, cause not a small avalanche or whatever, but a loud enough bang just to get, somebody's attention, and it would look like something natural too.
That could work. maybe if we get like half the camp looking that way, we could somehow. So there's like no way to contact our people in there because we don't. Cause there's no obviously satellites.
You could use your field radios, but unfortunately, both people with field radios are currently in. Yeah.
It's literally gonna turn into a do you see the car? Are you going for the car? Or are you gonna stay kind of situation?
1,000%. You guys have but essentially Sarah's like, should we make a plan and just do the plan, and then like the other half of the party has no way of knowing what the plan is until the plan starts hitching off.
Pretty much, but my thing is waiting until Weevil's out of the tent suite, he sees the fucking car show up. I'm not driving in there while he's like indisposed.
Sarah says, you want me to should I sneak over to that end of the crater over there? And she kind of measures like halfway around the perimeter to create a diversion that way, so they don't know which we're coming from. Maybe I can give you a hand signal from there potentially.
Yeah,
shine a light from my compact.
If you can get away without getting caught. Yeah. I'll get the car. I'll bring it right back here in our sort of staging area. I guess we'll just stick with me. Probably in the car. Throw kits in the trunk so everybody else can jump in.
She gives you a nod, and she's going to slowly scramble like a quarter of the way around the perimeter of the crater, and then like she tells you like, give me a light from your comm pad when the signal's a go. I'll be able to see it from where I am.
I hear you.
Great, and she's gonna scramble over there. We cut back to Rhodey and Kali as knee pads comes over with a hot iron brand.
All right, are you ready?
Look, man, just make it quick, all right? I'm kind of freaked out already.
All right, just hold still. It's only gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah, Kali lifts up the front of his shirt and bites it.
And he's gonna
right over my nipple, man.
Yeah, he's gonna brand you where you want. Where do you want to be branded?
Not like tram stamp, but over to the side.
Okay, so like lower back to the left or right.
Yeah, let's say like if you're looking at like a
Jeez, worst spot.
let's say like 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Rhodey will even say like, that might be the worst spot you could have gotten it in, but hey, more power to you, I guess.
As he pulls the brand back, Kali, you almost like collapse from the pain a little bit. You almost like fall over. He very casually looks over at Rhodey.
No, we had one guy who wanted it right in the armpit for some reason. That was probably the weirdest one I've done.
Jeez. That guy passed out. Like, we're having a very casual conversation while Kali is like moaning.
Pass out, but it did get infected. It was really hard to take care of that crevice area. You know what I mean? It gets sweaty down there in the desert after all.
Yeah, I had a guy try and get a tattoo on the back of his knee, and that got infected. They had to scrape it all off. It was disgusting.
Yeah,
anyway, Kali, how you doing?
Crazy. Yeah, how you doing, bud?
And he offers an arm out to you as if to be like, come on, either get in here or get up, depending on where you are. But like,
I'll pick the arm up and I'll go, this like coming from 2 guys who look like they called out of a fucking trash can.
Hey, that's
Good
a
one.
brother. Yeah, I mean, could use a little work, but hey, I'll take it. Welcome.
All right,
What's that? Yeah, that's your new name, tramp stamp. Welcome to the fuel maker's tramp stamp.
And he goes, why don't you
guys come on over to the tent over here, grab yourself some stew, some water, get yourselves hydrated and fed up. I'll tell you
we got refreshments at the function.
We sure do, brother. It's one of the advantages of fuel makers. Like I said, we got what we need to survive. I'll tell you a little bit about our organization while we get some grub. Give me the ropes.
All right, Rhodey would do that happily. He's hungry.
Yeah. We cut then to Weevil as he enters the dimly lit, torch lit kind of second.
I am keeping a hawk's eye on that beacon, like looking around inside here, like where is it coming from? Where is it left? Is it right,
So you enter what is essentially a small longhouse, essentially, longer than it is deep, with 3 walls, and the ceiling made out of metal, but sort of the back wall and the floor made out of sand and bedrock of the crater.
So it's like the top and sides were kind of sheared off from the ship, and it's resting on the bottom.
Yeah, so like when you walk in, you see the outer wall of the crater, and beneath you is sand, but like to your left and right is the walls are metal and misshapen, like the sheet metal of the hull of the ship. The ceiling is made of the ship, and the back wall that you originally entered from is made of the ship.
Gotcha. Cool.
And you see there's lots of there's like a metal long table made for dining and working, chairs and decor, torches mounted on the wall, just made of husks of wood with like gauze and oil wrapped around them to burn, and various large pieces of tech, TL4 and beyond, not beyond, but TL4 scrap lied about this kind of workstation abode, and you hear the heavy metal clanging of boots and chains as they rumble kind of from around a corner towards you.
Enter, but what brings you to the home of the fuel makers?
As your associate, Rage, said, I apologize for the dishonesty in the beginning. I am part of a group of survivors that crash landed on Saragon 2. We are on Saragon 2 right now. Saragon 2. And I have been searching for a specific signal which led me to this crater. It seems that the signal is within the building that we find ourselves in, and I offered in exchange for negotiating the potential medical aid for your men, as I noticed some seem to be suffering with some sort of affliction, the symptoms of which align with radiation sickness.
The clanging of these metal boots and chains begins to get louder as this figure is approaching from, again, still around the corner in the darkness, getting louder.
You know what I think that signal was? I bet it was a call from destiny.
And this hulking figure begins to emerge from around the corner, made of like this dark-skinned, 6'6", muscle-ripped, gas mask wearing, just almost like smoking out of vents on his back, with some sort of TL4 scrap reconfigured harness, flamethrower, and like metal shin pads all around him.
If destiny is what brought you here to the fuel maker's home, to me specifically, I bet you're not looking for a way to help my people. I bet you're really looking for a way off this planet, aren't you? It's okay, you can be honest with me.
If I can accomplish both goals, that would be ideal, but yes, the long-term goal would be to get off this planet.
And he,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And he reaches up, the flamethrower dangling on like a guitar sling around his shoulder, and begins to unscrew his gas mask as he lifts off this like Darth Vader-esque helmet. and reveals a very kind of pale visage, gaunt face, very trim mustache, brown hair, almost reddish, coiffed hair. You have to get me off of this fucking planet. These people are crazy. And that's where we're gonna end the session. a little early tonight, 15 minutes early.
What the fuck?
Love it.
Okay, interesting. That's a really weird way to end it.